Veljko Vendis, pozdrav. Krenuo prvi game, jest. Jeste, krenuo prvi game ovog sekunda. O, sam tačan u sekundu, a? Mali buće i Merstaš ubili svi zijevanjka. Sam tačan u sekundi, sam tačan, bre.
Little stressful to do those almost 50-50 drops where you have to take the battle right off the start. Looks like Yanis was actually
Barone, pozdrav.
secure an elimination as well here.
Čekaj, Veljko, 3 čoveka na streamu, stani, brate, daj predikcije, stani malo. Da skupimo, čekaj samo da...
Because they got that elimination so early, even though they don't have a ton of resources, they can kind of drain the clock down, make Bad Sniper have a bad move, and they just attack from 2 different angles. Another early game fight instantly won by Yanis and Flixi. A new duo to this season that you got to look at and think there's a lot of high hopes on the table for them.
A lot of potential. 11 Mini, we're talking about them.
Franjo, pozdrav.
Duos that have moved to NA just opens up more opportunities for the ones that stayed here on EU. Landing brawlers as well. Taking a look at this POI brings memories from last major. Not as popular this time around, but still very strong.
Yeah, you still got a good amount of loot. You have the dashes. It is relatively center of the map as well. And because I think that so many people disregard Grim Gates, that there's no medallion there, that not many people want to challenge it. So virtually uncontested in most regions. So this is going to allow them to get a nice early start. It just all depends, does anybody rotate through Grim Gates, around Grim Gates, or is Toos and Karma going to have to rotate out to get their Storm Surge?
That's the big question. Important thing is elevating yourself here. You can see, kind of taking a peek at those surrounding duos. We saw how popular it was, the third-party Grim Gate, when it was the big POI of the season. So there's still a lot of split drops that do happen in the surrounding area. So opportunity for tags should arise if they're able to wait long enough. Perhawer comeback, though, quick to rotate from their drop.
This is a team that we've seen in many different instances of majors that they're progressively getting better as a fight. Flixi and Vico, a team that we've talked about, getting very, very aggressive. We talked about what's over towards Reckless Reels. Well, the most common thing that we see almost every team try and fight for, it's that close forecast tower just to the south, a little bit to the east of where Reckless Railways is actually at. And already you see with early game eliminations, that's going to give them the best chances to go ahead and get it, but they're not stopping there. There's one elimination is not enough. They're going for another one on Akiro and instantly takes him down. That's 2 total eliminations, a full team out of the lobby. And great positioning for Vico and Flixi.
Could this be the communications coming to play? Vico no longer having to speak English with Pink. Now, once again, back
Ryzex, pozdrav.
native language.
Kako si, Ryzex?
Over quickly to Artist here. Nice clean connects. Forcing that aggression now with the advantage. Gonna pick this up quickly. 2v1. Oh no, he's actually lost his duo partner. It's turned into a 1 versus 1. Danger now rising.
Yeah, Fanayan, basically a 1v1. Fire Hunter's already down. Artist is doing what he can. That's a nice shot. That's going to alleviate a good amount of pressure. But you have to be careful because there's almost no instance this season that you're 100%.
Šta kažem večer za Srbiju? Pa pucamo, brate, od... Pucamo, brate, engleska mnogo jaka.
Fanayan basically going down with ease as Artist ends that one pretty quickly. And it's way before anybody else can begin to try to third party, move over in this direction, and interrupt it for themselves.
If you're able to get initial tags for these types of engagements, it's already an advantage. It's always been an advantage, but like you said, Jacob, now with the nitro splashes, it's just that much more powerful if you're able to land those initial shots. Because, I mean, it's very difficult to run away from someone that's charging at you with full nitro, both players. I mean, you can put ramps in your box, but you're only going to last so long. You won't have enough time to heal up, so it's definitely a scary position to be in for a lot of these players. Kidero and Nebs, though, very close to a lot of action, just like Marius here, who's already been cracked. Opposing duos now are going to be the aggressors.
Pozdrav Muksić, pozdrav Ksandar. Srpski natjači. Možda bude srpski natjači, brate, ali igramo futbol. Nismo u kafani, brate.
Is also getting tagged out. Marius out of nowhere is alleviating the pressure that is absolutely necessary, and now the tables have turned. He's looking like he's on the chase.
Nitro splash popped once again, looking to find the angle now to rush on in, but shots from above gets cracked once again. Marius dropped.
Jebote Kane u dupe i ti njega, si čuo Muksić? Jebote Kane. I Lewandowski, i Kane, i svi ti centar for i Bayern.
Looking down below, you still have that engagement that's unfinished. Nice! 2 shots connected as well. This is scary,
good.
Jacob.
Yeah, this is good for them too, because not only do they have that, they have the medallion all the way from the bottom side of the map, which gives them that nitro, infinite nitro splash ability essentially coming out from them. So if you try to challenge them, you have to be careful in a lot of these situations. And just like we're seeing nitro splash be used as the offensive maneuver item, you can see it here being used by Sanguid and Marius. They're quickly popping it because it does give you speed, it does give you a little bit more stamina.
Jel dobija englesku, Mile, imam još ono malo mi fali za 100 eura. Engleska ali dobija, bre.
Yeah, it is now the main item for mobility and also just for fighting in general when you need it. Here you can see they also have a use of natural mobility with the launch pad on that ridge.
Dobar dan, Pajko, deci, jebote.
And like we were mentioning,
Veljko, pozdrav.
initial shots, you can see nitro splashes pop instantly.
A što manje morate primit, bitno je radi 3. mjesta. Da, slažem se s tobom, Muksić. Jebote Kane u dupe i ti njega i popušiš mu kurac. Gde si, Pajko, jebote 1-2 puta, brate. Zdravo, Overčino! Pozdrav, brate moj. Jer imaš lower bracket, over. Što da te ne jebe, šta ti fali, brate? Mareks, pozdrav. To over, brate moj. Uvatiše ga ovima imuni. Uvatiše ga i jebaše ga. Bar nešto, brate. Jeli ti reče na početku streama, onaj ti spava. I reče onaj ti spava, brate. Kad je došao? Au, dobro si ti prošao, over. Dobro si. A i početak vam je bio fenomenalan, ej. Kaže, čekaj da si ispišam, a već kasno. Au, jebote 1-2 put, Pajko. Nisam rekao tebi, rekao sam Muksiću da ga jebe Kane u dupe, brate. I on bi još da piša, si ga pitao, treba da ga izdrka još. Over vidio sam, brate. Vidio sam over, bio sam u šoku, brate. Kad sam vidio, bio si zadnji. Tamo od mojih frendova, brate moj. Čuti, dobro si prošao, stvarno. Da budeš zadovoljan, majke. Pa rekao sam ti da pomeriš za 2 sata od onog prvog što si stavio. Ma da, over, ma da. Pozdrav Niko, dobro sam, super. Gde si, Bobby? A pa, Pajko, idi u školu pa izračunaj, brate. Ne misliš valjda ja da ti računam matematiku, brate.
Like about this team, they're just progressively getting better. 3 FNCS finals, even though their best placing isn't among some of the best, it's all about consistency. It's all about progression.
Pajko, jebote, ne zna koliko je 6+2. Pa to su strašne stvari, bre. O, mele, direktore.
Especially with some of these other players leaving the region. Real beachhead over towards the side. Another spot that's new to this season. There's a lot of nitro over here. There's the boost rings that can be used to try to get to zone a lot quicker. And there's the cactuses that we've talked about if you want to save as much of the resources as possible when trying to run.
If you think about it, there's a lot of natural map mobility in this season. You said it yourself. Nitro portals, cactuses, water of sticks, launch pads. There's so many kind of just things scattered around the map. that you can use to help get you to zone. You can even see Pixie and Yanis.
Ovi se namestili baš na lepo mesto, bogano.
Taking pop shots currently, but
Da li jednom da pokažete Truleksa i Čića, malo valjalo bi, znaš. Jel to pivo? Ma kako pivo, bre, pijem energy, ko je pivo, brate? Zašto pijem pivo? Pijem pivo, brate, Samir i Marko imaju temperaturu, Alex kašlje ko lud. Ja se sad probudio, brate. Sad sam se probudio, brate. Počeo da gledam Poljsku i Holandiju, gledao prvo polovreme i zaspio.
100%. Little sneaky play here now too. Believe close to brawlers. You gotta be careful. Mid to late game. Is it worth it to walk into those already looted hangars, buildings, even little shacks throughout the map, as there could always be those players hiding? But it looks like they're not too interested. Oh, I might have spoke too soon.
Yeah, they're just farming up as much as possible. They are being very, very careful. They're watching out. They have some sense that somebody might be hiding in this direction. But they don't know exactly where.
Boga mi, bit će možda Kinder Surprise. Neće, odoš.
And right now, even though there's angles, I'm liking the patience coming out of this duo. Getting a little bit too ahead of themselves, but they actually saw him on the other side. His teammate and his chance to get
nije loše.
shot to be fired by Frozzy. If he can kind of continue this pace, but art skill with a flank, there's a strength in numbers that they're trying to use, but that's going to allow them to escape. You see that T-Chips already
Nije
starting
loše
to heal up.
80.
Cola is going to get 75 shields over
O,
time.
Mićo, otkud ti, bre?
The damage is instantly right out the window.
Pa desi, bre, Mićo, nemate nigdje. Jebi ga, igra se, šta ćeš, bre?
Strong on loot. They only had like a green gatekeeper and maybe even like a gray.
Mićo Kawasaki, daj ne vređe ljude, brate, pa i ko?
There must have been a reboot. You can see only 5 shots as well in the shotgun. I mean, they can still come out on top here, but
Sky, pozdrav!
they're definitely not as healthy.
It's not gonna be easy.
Oni i dalje fajtaju.
That's unfortunate. His art skill just goes in. All the positioning, all the health out the window.
Što je glup art skill. Teni čap umrli od bota, jel me jebeš?
And then that 2v1 is just too much to overcome, and that's the thing, Takata. All it takes is one mistake, one
Sačuvaj me, Bože, brat.
And art skill just felt that pain.
Sačuvaj me, Bože.
You can see how quickly he got eliminated 200-0 in a millisecond. Even though they didn't have the best loot in the game.
Pajko, ćeš ti dam vičgla malo da gledaš u njega, brat. Jeli, Pajko?
On their drop spot, you can see they've secured the mythic loot. They got the 2 elims off spawn, and they just decided to build up and continue looking for tags as the zone has pulled south.
Opalim te golim. Vičgla, bato, vičgla, vičgla. Što ti dam vičgla malo da u njega gledaš, brat.
They're capitalizing on that by taking those shots now from above.
Yeah, and just like we saw with the cactuses,
Hoćeš, dobro, dogovoreno,
so he is going to get shields up to 75 if he does lack it. So, getting a surge for them is another team I expect to be.
Ko vina FNCS? Ja mislim, brate, da vinaju Truleks i Čić. Joksi, desi, bre.
If they do want to take it on that duo that's positioned below, because then it exposes themselves not only to Malibu and Mustache, but the other surrounding teams that'll probably third party it for surge for themselves.
Yeah, you got to be careful here. 30 seconds until the next zone appears as well. There is that nitro portal, but there's a lot of open area here and a lot of duos kind of just waiting to look back at you and take shots.
Boga mi jebeno.
From both duos.
Zamisli sad opet dođe do baga u dezertu i svima kreša game, brate. Zamisli sad. U sred finala. Dobro, Joksi, dobro. Dobra ideja, brate. Vidi, ovi gde su, jebote. Kurac, ovi na snegu. Ovi na snegu, brate. Ovi se drkaju, brate. Mile, ja sam našao duos. Teško njemu, brate.
You see, though, they will make use of that porter potty, which is going to bring them closer to the zone, but
teško.
not enough yet.
Viko da plejsa dobro. Teško,
Make
brat.
their way towards a launch pad or something to help
Teško.
them get into the
Nema
zone.
on tu... Nema on tu ovaj...
No, there's a couple launch pads positioned.
On nema tu inteligenciju da
Combine that
vina.
with the Flowberry Fizz makes for an easy rotation almost anywhere on the map.
Trebaš tam da mu praviš. To je već druga stvar, znači pare, brat.
That everybody knows and loves, but here's the new one. They still got some distance to cover. You combine that with the Flowberry Fizz just like
1000 above u finalu, ej. To baš i nije ovaj slika koju možda vidiš svaki dan. To baš i nije slika koju možda vidiš svaki dan. 1000 above u finalu. To mele. Sangild dead, Marius u problemu. Marius, brate, u zoni ostao okružen s 2 tima. Ode, brat, 400 above, Older je low, ide Marius na njega. Bump kaktus ode. Op, 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 ili ima neko da ga sačeka. Gledajte ljudi ovamo, evo ga. Alo, cheater u trku. Gledaj, on si iskila full, brat. Jo, majko. Gledaj ga, on sad u zoni u najboljoj poziciji. Gledaj srećaru, majke mu ga nabijem. Gledaj ti ovo, bre. I kaktus pored sebe, bre. Ma daj, bre.
Think of the positives of losing your duo partner, not many, but I like the positive mental attitude.
Ma daj, on trči solo, beži, nikoga ne puca. I na kraju mrtav Vladan završava u centru zone, brat. Ti mi kaži posle, nema to ovo ono. Neće ove neki igrači. Kako se zoveš na Twitteru? Mele, ja bi ga blokao. Ne zajebavaj, Bobby. Tačno, Filipe, tačno. Mele, ja bi to blokao. On je tebe čak pitao kako se zoveš na Twitteru. Ja bi to blokao, brate moj. Majke mi moje. Opa, opa, dead turtle. Chips dead. Ju i Asa pobedili. Ju i Asa pobedili.
Both players now forced to pop a med kit here. Zone is quite a ways away, so not only do they have to loot quickly, but also figure out how they're going to rotate in. Only 84 above, even after those 2 eliminations. You can see the amount of players that are kind of on the borderline as well. The edge of that zone going to be looking right back at them as they're rotating in. So, although they came out on top of that engagement, they still have a long journey to go.
Evo su ova dvojica, kako su ubili Sviđa i Vanjka na početku.
Even picked up another elimination.
Uskoro placement,
Bunch of
ljudi.
extra loot though. Looks like they picked up 3, even though they only got 1.
Ovi imaju loot ovde za izvoz sad. Gledaj ovo, ima metala, ima sve, evo, brick, metal još. Pogledaj ovo, bre. Ovi imaju loot ovde za prodaju, brat.
Especially when players are out of build, especially in this lane game, it's going to become very, very disastrous. So picking and choosing which layer, to me, is so impactful and so much more crucial this season than kind of ever before. And we're going to just see it play out. I know we've seen little instances so far today with the nitro splashes, but once we get a couple more zones inward, we're going to see how impactful where your positioning actually means for you.
We were talking about it. There's so many plays that can come from these nitro splashes that we haven't
Ne
seen it before.
zajebavaj, Veljko.
So these late games, they're going to get chaotic, but they're definitely going to be fun to watch. Kiddo Nebs continuing with the rotate. You can see they were making use of that cactus again to just full out on shield, but you got to be careful as Kiddo's been cracked now. Nebs going to have to help him out here. Group up, hold builds for a little bit. They don't need damage. They just need to be safe.
all about just surviving in most cases.
Drkaš me.
Some thriving,
Drkaš
others
me
not.
da ga
Taking
nisi
front right
hitao,
pass
majke ti.
against a team who desperately needs surge, 244 below, and one blessing right
Drkaš
here
me
is
da
the
ti
team
treba,
position
brate,
where
srđ
everybody has to rotate
i da
away.
nisi
This could
hito
be an
lika koji ti je
opportunity, an
ispod
isolated
tebe.
fight, and this is where they're gonna rotate parallel, follow around any one of these
Levo
teams.
sam vidio Čića, Čića uzo kill.
Just pop the nitro splash.
Čića uzo kill, vidio sam Čića i Trulek sa levo od ovih. Cringe ubio Vika. To je ono što ja Meletu pričamo, neće da me sluša, brate. Gledaj ga, gledaj ga, gledaj ga. Pa kad ćeš da pucaš ako nećeš sad? A koji predikt za utakmicu? Pa jedno 3-0 za Englesku, brate. Mislim da ne bi trebali da primemo više od 3, brate. Flix je solo, Meleto Viko otišao.
Peeking behind, seeing which players are going to have to rotate in and around him. All this information is so crucial, especially when you're a solo like Flixie and you got your back up against the wall, trying to pick a point, but Volko, Cringe, they see him there. He's in the cone for good reason. They break through the bottom layer, but Flixie, now everything's coming crashing down. You see him changing elevations, up, down, ping-ponging around, trying to survive, but as soon as he goes higher, a third party, other players in the lobby start to notice. They shoot some shots in his direction, but that has slowed down the chase, that allowed him to breathe here for a moment and survive.
Daj neko, brate, i našo me ti 3 komada. Drkaš me.
To place ramps in almost every box you're going to be in now just because of those nitro splashes. They'll give you another second to kind of tank that initial shot after the wall breaks. As now, first moving zone here for these players is going to be coming shortly. 995 above for Merstash and Malibuka. You called it yourself. That medallion, which allows them to constantly be at 75 shield. Coming in clutch to not only get those tags, but also be confident in these engagements and conserve all their consumables for this.
Čića ubio Asu. Čića ubio Asu. Top 20.
Push comes to shove. They have the nitro splashes as well.
Chris je airdrop kao neki high.
They are the first team to at least trying to make a claim for that high ground. How long can they hold on to it? They still got 3 more zones to go before this game is over. And they can quickly run out of builds if anybody has an opportunity to look up, try to target them and chop them down.
Good news is there aren't any nitro fists, so they don't have to worry about any uppercuts so far. But what they do have to worry about is people popping those nitro splashes and running through their builds to try and chop them down, but that's a problem later in the match.
Au, Čićo krekan. Au, mali bučak rekao Čića. Mali bučak rekao Čića. Nadam se da ima da se ishila. Čićo je umro. Čićo je umro, Aras gubio. Aras ubio Čića, ne znam da li je Trulek živ. Ne znam da li je Trulek živ. Eno ga, Trulek živ je, zadnji je. Trulek si živ, ljudi. Za malo, brate, mrtvi Marius. Bobby nem pojma, brate moj. Ovi konektali.
Nobody really had that chance to look up at him just yet and see Pixie trying to go forward. He gets chopped down, a little bit of HP, so he's not going to be able to contest for it for long. Nobody has a chance to look up because of the nitro splashes. Everybody down below has to be careful that somebody's going to break into their box. Yanis down, Kenti gone. There's so many players getting lost right now in the blink of an eye because
Trulek umro. Pixi mrtvi ubio Truleksa. Trulek top 15. Mrtvi Pixi jeboti pas mater.
Your builds are not safe. You are not safe if you're down below. Issue is, a lot of these players, they're going to be running low on materials now. They don't have an option to play mid or high ground. They're going to be dropping down layers as they...
Zdravo si vozi, zdravo botino stara.
And it's just going to be more and more dangerous
Top 12 ljudi.
But the pressure's on them. Walls being broken, but they're still holding on strong. The ramp narrowly saving their game right there, defending against that nitro splash.
Još se ovaj Pixi hila, majke mu ga nabijem. Evo ga kreći. Ubij ga ove do majke mu ga nabijem, bravo. Nepsi kidao dobar duo, brat. Si vozi, nema ništa, evo prvi game gledamo, finale.
Layer here, but they're running low on mats. Just 2 more builds for Nebs. Kidduo must be low as well as they're forced to look back now. Alternative routes to find.
Comeback i Purčava je dead, comeback je solo. Nema white heala, 22 helta. Top 7. Mali Buće ubija Kajda. 6 killova Mali Buće i Merstaš.
FNCS champions showing why they have the respect that they do on the European region. And all of Fortnite itself as they go for this high ground retake.
Mile, brati, jel igra sad brzi? Sad ćemo da vidimo, nisam ga vidio. Mali Buća uzo high Kristu. Top 4. Jel ima gitaru u FCS-u? Ne bre, Josipa, šta ti je, brat? Pa nije ovo public game, brat.
Malabuka Merstash now. Merstash dropping down, looking to cause commotion on Kidduo and Nebs as the medkit gets popped. Only one more medkit though to be put to use. Malabuka, no more heals. He has to find the player healing. He needs to finish it.
Yeah, he doesn't know where he's at. He's looking all around. He's trying to nitro dash his way.
Mali Buće je umro, Kido i Nebs winali game. Kristijan odigrao odlično side dropom, izgubio high. Izgubio je high, imao je tu win. Jebi ga.
Merstash Malabuka had the correct idea there, going for height, overtaking it. The issue was, although they got those eliminations, they did not have any heals to play. They were not aware of where that last player was playing the heal off, and that's exactly why Nebs came out on top.
Yeah, it's not every single
Urkelica, pozdravio te Loliken. Jebote on u dupi i ti njega, brate. Jebem li mu majku bolesnu. Nebs i Kidov na prvo mesto 87 poena, Vinsa 11, drugi Merstaš i Mali Buća, treći Chris i Aydrop, četvrti Asa i Ju, Merajni Kajd, šesti, Comeback Purčava 7, Cringe Volko 9, Janis Pixi 11, Akira 12, Pingy Vox 14, Trulex i Čićo 15, Fire Hunter 16, Sangil Marius 17, Viko i Flixi 20, rekao sam ti, Mele. Da li je brzi na streamu, alo? Plavne, pozdrav, brate. CZB Nathan 21, Voltex Cool 22, Turtle Chips 23, Shadox i Older 26, Tusi Karmi 27, Focus Belushi 33, Skydum Vox 34, Chap Teni 45. Da. Rekao Loliken si pička. Sine, ako se stvarno družiš sa Lolikenom, sa jednim od najvećih psihopata na Balkanu, nije tebi lako, sine. Ja znaš, ja sam viđao raznorazne za 5,5 godina mog streamanja, raznorazne budale i raznorazne idiote na ovom community i uopšteno, ali Loliken je jedan od najvećih psihopata i najvećih budala koga sam vidio. Teško tebi ako se družiš s njim, brate. Nije tebi lako, brate moj. A karte u prodaji, brate. karte u prodaju za Texas, ja mislim, ili tako? Jest, Fort Worth, Texas. Kad vidim Peterbota nije mi dobro, brate. Da li je brzi na streamu, ej? Da si popa legendo. 3 minuta novi game, znači Trulex 15, Kristijan 3. Trulex je umro, 15 sa 2 kila su imali. Čiće uzo 2 kila, šteta mali da nije mali buće u skoku krekao Čića, brate, ne verujem da bi Čića umro, brate, ali jebik. Ja skoro jedini na Balkanu imam Valorant betu, znaš, na konzoli, ozbiljno. Au, brate, znači prelaziš u Valorant igrače. U krevetu, u krevetu. Pa de je brzi čoveče, što ga nema, ga juče nema. Došao je juče kratko, samo se javio, brate. Došao je kratko, samo se javio i otišao, brate. Čekaj, brate, ja nisam ni upalio. Šta je, Bobby? Kakva je situacija, brate? I jaoj, zaboravio sam. I jaoj, zaboravio sam.
Welcome back to our first qualifying weekend of major number 3. And what a way to start, Levin, because if you thought that this season was going to be easy, that game should have showed you it's going to be anything but. But of course, we had a fantastic duo coming out on top in that endgame.
Absolutely, man. Kidwa and Neb's a very new duo. I mean, they made things look easy in a game that wasn't very easy, mini-man. I mean, 11 eliminations and so cleanly as well. I think when you look at how they played that, it was quite textbook when you look at both of their playstyles. Both of these guys known for being able to frag out on those mid and low ground layers, and they did it just so flawlessly there.
Yeah, 100%. And this is a duo that I didn't necessarily have my eyes on going into today. Their placements so far since playing together haven't necessarily been fantastic. They didn't light up the world going into this FNCS weekend. I mean, I'm looking at their opens placement, 346, round 2, 593rd, and then round 3 was 26. So they haven't been absolutely performing like crazy. But in that end game, as you mentioned, the way that they're able to sort of bounce off each other, play these little refreshes really well, it suits their playstyle. It's the way that they like to play, and they're playing hit-to-hit really nicely, even getting this medallion here in the end, which just bolsters their ability just to tear through the whole lobby.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily think they were in the best of positions most of the time, but again, it was just in those moments like here where they're just both on each other, both on the same angle, shotguns out, you know, using the nitro really well when needed. Like, they just executed really well when they needed to, and sometimes that is the key to finding success, right? You might make a bad decision, but if you can play out that scenario just as best as you possibly can, you're gonna beat out a lot of people who are making these giga brain rotates and doing what you'd consider the best and most optimal decision in that moment, and they're rewarded for that. So really nice game from them too.
I'd love to ask you boys about the runners-up, though, Merstash and Malibuka, because we were actually having a chat while we were watching the game and going, oh, hang on a second, these guys, they almost didn't even qualify for this week. They had a really bad time of it. And now, Mini Miner, they're coming second.
Gde si bre, proši botino.
It's, you know, the champs themselves, the players that we expect to do well.
Monex kaže, Aksiro, ne praktisaš ako te neko uništi 10-0. Dobar round 3 bio iskreno. Dobar round 3 bio, a? Čovjek je rekao da je bio dobar round 3. Dobro je bilo, samo što se niste pobili ti i tvoj teammate. To je jedino bilo dobro, brate. Jedino što je dobro u vašem turniru juče, što ste igrali round 3 je što ste niste pobili, brate. To ste se zajebavali. Zajebavali ste se u FNCS-u. U FNCS-u ste se zajebavali u round 3. Sve ti govori o tome, ono, Mile, jel imaš na Discordu nekog dobrog za 1v1? Brate, ima ih milion, ljudi gledaju fudbal, ljudi gledaju FNCS finale, brate moj. Ajde da nešto raščistimo, brate, ovako. Normalni ljudi, čekaj da pojačam sam. Normalni ljudi u ovom trenutku spremaju se da gledaju fudbal koji kreće za par minuta. Normalni drugi ljudi koji ne bi da gledaju fudbal upravo sede, gledaju Mileta Pumu zato što Mile Puma streama FNCS Week 1 ili ti prva nedelja finale. Zašto ljudi gledaju finale uz Mileta Pumu? Da nauče, da vide kako pro igrači igraju, rotiraju, trejdaju srđ, rade svašta, zdravo Toše, da bi oni u nedelji broj 2 ili ti u viku broj 2 mogli da poprave svoj gameplay, bili bolji i kvalifikovali se i možda u sreću uzeli neke pare u Fortniteu. Ali ima pojedini igrači u chatu kao što je Urkelica, kao što je Aksiro, koji, brate, su izgleda TikTok, Stojka, Periša, Mudiša, Kuriša, Warriorsi koji žive u kreativu i misle da je bitno da sa nekim odigraju 1v1, a ne da nauče da igraju Fortnite. Eto. Eto. Znači, NPC-evi se druže sa NPC-evima, proigrači sa proigračima i to je to uvek bilo i uvek biće. Eto. Vanjak sad njega jebe. 1-0 za Merstaša i malog Buću u prvom gejmu. Zdravo, guli! 1-0 za malog Buću i Merstaš u prvom gejmu. Šta će biti u drugom gejmu? Mali Buća dead. Izgleda bit će 1-1. Nebs ubio Karmija.
Incredibly difficult for Merstash, Jacob. I'm trying to think like what he can do here, but wait a minute.
Merstaš je za malo ubio Svizija. Merstaš je za malo ubio Svizija. Sviziju ostalo 5 helta, brat. Sviziju ostalo 5 helta, brat.
And it's basically a 1-to-1 between the Major 1 and Major 2 champions here off spawn. And now they're going to go ahead and get all that loot, the mythic
Jeste,
combat
Froši,
and
jeste,
medallion
brate.
that gives you unlimited nitro boost.
Vidimo Janis kako reviva Pixija, izgleda da su opet ubili bad snajpera, drugi game za redom izgleda. Izgleda tako. Zdravo Krpeš, zdravo. Da, bad sniper je umro, da. Upravo smo vidjeli replay kako je bad sniper umro drugi game za redom na landu.
No O'Reilly though. What's gone wrong here? Looks like it's a 1 versus 1.
He's counter popping the nitro just in case. That's one of the only clear-cut ways I feel like you can defend against the nitro. Nitro on nitro. There's gonna be Aqua here going up against Frack in the 1v1 situation. He doesn't have the nitro, and that's exactly what we're looking at in situations like that. And he just gets taken down a mile in the sky. All the way back to the lobby. That's one of those exciting moments that we're talking about.
Ubiga ko
I was
zec.
scared for a moment because I thought Ace Frack was also going to get eliminated by Aqua in the
Ubiga
sky.
ko
Imagine
zec.
he takes him out in the sky and then gets Elim to fall damage. That would have been a sight to see, but you know, I wouldn't be surprised if it
Jel
ends up
hoćeš bi ti
happening.
1v1 Mile? Ne mogu sad Bobby gledam finale.
It takes you to the clouds as well.
Inače bi ti ubio čas posla. Me vega neki iz Niš, brat.
Looking to hide a little bit, but for how long?
Yeah, both of these teams in that last round. Lens and Tidy getting 39th. Della and Fanayan barely squeaking in, what, a 49th? And this is going to be a huge battle. Impatience are so important, trying to keep the game alive, and Della is going to win one. He's actually going to get both of those eliminations, making it easier for Fanayan to survive there.
Dela ubio bojicu.
Somehow was able to get out of the situation as comeback for Hawa now. Gonna be the aggressors this time around. The small little shack was their home base, but with the nitro activated quickly.
Šta je potrebno uđi u akademiju? Ruke, bato, ruke!
Almost got cracked. Good news is comeback.
I mozak.
Incredibly healthy, able to kind of slow things down, pace out this engagement a bit more. As just one more big shot needs to be connected here for comeback to come out on top.
Ao, Mile, ti streamaš 10 sati. 44 minuta.
There's a third party coming through as well. Comeback needs to get out of here.
Yeah, that fourth party even
Krpeš
saw
kako 10 sati,
somebody to get
44
the
minuta,
invitation, and
brate,
they're
streamam.
happy that the party went on
Spavao
without
do
us.
malo
They're
pre,
crashing
brate,
nonetheless.
zaspo,
They're trying to
brate,
stay
uz
alive, and there's
Poljsku
only so much.
i Holandiju.
Is that a bird? Is that a play? No, it's just an elimination that I'm gonna grab.
That is tragic.
To neki bug, bre, Krpeš. Šta radim 10 sati, nisam poludeo, brate.
You won't get launched this high, but there's so much going on. It's honestly quite difficult. We'll see what choices these players make now, as I think, yeah, no longer taking the engagement. Well, with that amount of damage, it might just be worth it now, but they know that there's other duos in the surrounding area. They know it's a little risky. There's even spare loot.
Jel vam žao, brate, što stojka nije kvala, jel?
Damage, so what they're looking for now is just extra.
Jel plako, brate, jel plako?
Really gonna look like it was gonna go one way, and then just everybody just pounced into the box.
Art is dead. Fire Hunter sam izgleda da je dead. Beži, beži, beži. Beži Fire Hunter, boga mi 50 helta. Dela poludeo, brate. Tako, Ivki, tako je, brate.
The dashes. I don't know how I feel about that wall. It's a good safety, but if he was getting chased, they'd know he was healing there. Good news is he's not, so we're back to Moppy and Kiro. There was another duo on this hill, actually, in the last match.
Moppy i Kiro ubiše nekoga, brate.
It was, but similar rotate. It was CZB Nathan, actually. And you can see there they are, right behind them. But it looks like they weren't the first ones to get here this time around. It's Moppy Kiro now, so I don't know how long they'll be holding them and kind of taking pop shots back and forth, but you know both these duos want to take that launch pad, so it's kind of just like a waiting game at the moment.
It's kind of up to CZB and Nathan how long they want to stay in this position. Because the players up top of the mountain, they can wait all the way up until zone comes in. They have the Flowberry Fizz. They can do a very, very long launch pad, but CZB and Nathan, they're at the mercy of other players rotating around them. And you see the pressure that they're putting on. They're trying to break the brick before Nathan can actually farm it. Kind of thinking outside of the box, and there goes the nitro splash for CZB and Nathan to try to create some distance between them. And Kiro and his teammate on top of that mountain, which is actually important. You want to get there quick because they can kind of keep track of you with that launch pad.
Tarps now. Gonna be forced to make some tarps here if he wants to come out on top, though. Nitro put to good use, dropping down Flixie. No longer time to heal. You don't get a lot of space to breathe in this current meta. You have to play extra aggressive, but if you're unable to connect those initial shots, you might just not be able to come out on top. Medkit started, quickly stopped, 36 HP, now down to 0, as Vico and Flixie are out of game 2.
Yeah, struggles continue. They got 20th in that last game. They started it on 16 points. And unfortunately, going down in 37th without elimination is going to just be hard. With 4 more games left, there's definitely a possibility to come back, but now you're really going to be put to the test in week 1 to see what you can come out and do. Voco and Cringe,
Ajde, Marex.
42 points after that first game. Looking pretty good so far. They got a 9th place. They got 4 eliminations. They're kind of looking at that slow and steady wins the race type thing.
Yeah, not too bad at all. Not too bad at all. Medkit's being traded.
Joksi,
Cringe actually led all players with 1,900.
Joksi, da ti pokažem nešto. Aki se desi, legendo. Joksi, da ti pokažem nešto, brate.
How much Kiddo and Nebs were fragging out in the late game. Cringe still had more damage, so he was doing something right.
They do have the blueprint and knowing how to get victory royales as well in round 3. They had 3 separate wins with almost...
Čekam da na Srbi da izgubi 5-0, šta ćeš, jebi ga, pare su u pitanju. Tačno, brate, tačno.
Switch on to almost the other side of the map yet again. Swizzy, Vanyak. They don't have to rotate far. Very, very similar to game 1, or at least in this zone where they can kind of hunker down, try and get surge. But not everybody feels that same safety as iDrop breaks into the box. Nitro splash, but he's going to almost go down for it. It's actually going to...
Mele, mrazi me, brate, mišće da mi se pokvari. Joksi, jel vidiš ti ovo, brate?
What he does have is an opportunity to try to fight Hris, who takes him down with 26 HP.
Neće, a?
Those are some huge eliminations from Hris, but right when you feel the happiness, the terror comes right after. Chaptini, we talked about them.
Da vidimo.
This is an incredibly powerful duo. Finished second place.
Da vidimo da li ima meleta, brate, meni.
But now, after those back-to-back Cash Cup finishes, the boom bolt was removed from their drop spot at the Nitro Dome. Are they still capable of doing a good job? Are they still capable of leading the pack?
Ne, mele mi ne iskače, ma meni u recommended-u, brate, to je.
They didn't really get any points in game 1, so it's basically going to be the start of their journey here. And if they could have the same performances as they were having before to get up into this point in the performance evaluation cups, that won't necessarily matter, but it's all about how you pick up the pace from this game onward.
Au, bežanija Engleza sad, gle sad, gle sad. Gle sad bežanija niz ulicu, gle sad. Gledaj bežanija, udri Srbiji! Dobra chata! Beži, majke, ti ga nabijem engleske! Udri, majke, ga nabijem, bre! Tako je naši! Ajmo, ajde, svi u napad! Englezi, ovo napali, bato! Udri, majke, ga nabijem u pičku! Uvatili dvojicu i onda popušili kurac. Engleski navijači napali Srbe danas u kafeu Gelsenkirchenu, Nemačka. Result, to znači rezultat, a engleski fanovi su brzo naučili meaning FAFO as they had to scatter down the street like a rats. Kao pacovi beže niz ulicu, brate. Vidi kako begaju, brato! Jeveli ti sunce! Beže, braća, ko zečevi, jeli ti miša? Nema mi meleta nigde, brate.
Taking a look once again, Chaptini looks like they weren't done. with their momentum as they got themselves into another risky situation here. Both players now in zone, but it looks like they're still not done as they start building up. Are their opponents going to fight back? Are they going to box up? It's normally not the best play to box up in this current meta, as you can get surprised quite easily. And there it is. Quickly realize, you know, maybe we shouldn't take this engagement. There is the river of sticks, so they can get those dashes by dipping their toes in that water, but taking a fight when you have to rotate might not be the best idea this time around.
Yeah, and some people might be asking, why did they run back in the zone? Why did they run deeper in the zone? Chapatini have their eyes set on the bunker, opened up, see what scraps they can get out of that one. And you see the other side of the map, Moran and Cade doing the same exact thing, fighting for these bunkers outside of the zone.
Evo je tuča samo iz drugog ugla. Tuča samo iz drugog ugla.
And with all that gold, it allows you to add some of those attachments, whether you want an extra couple shots in your gatekeeper, an extra couple shots in your thunderburst, or maybe just a quicker reload. The choice is yours.
Tuča iz drugog ugla, ali da, bez veze, iz daljine, baš iz daljine. Ali totalno drugi tekst. Tuča, ali iz daljine. Ovo je tuča od ozgo snimljena, ovo je od pozadi. Ali totalno drugi tekst. Neka žena, Simon Claire, kaže: upravo sam stigla u centar Gelsenkirchena i velika grupa ljudi sa kapuljačama i maskama napala je Srbe koji su sedeli u baru, koji su pili piće. Stotine Engleza sedi nekoliko metara od njih sa ženom i decom, jedu i piju i uopšte ne učestvuju u tuči. Ona kaže da su neki ljudi u kapuljačama i maskama napali Srbe, a da Englezi sede odmah pored i nikog ne dira, brate. E pa ti koji su napali, ti su bežali ko zečeve, brate. Ko zečevi idu, braća. Sunce ti jebem. Lepo je to, brate, lepo. Engleski i srpski navijači, tuča na ulicama Gelsenkirchena.
He's fucking out! Police are coming in! Serbians! It's the Serbians!
Pa što ih dirate?
Go, go, go!
Go, go, go. Sad viš kako beže, gle kao viče, go, 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 gle sad.
Fucking hell, they're doing him!
Gle sad kad krene bežanija, brate, gle sad, gle sad. Udri naši, sad napad! To, juri, majku. Gelsenkirchen mi je daleko. Nije mi baš blizu. Do kurca, uvatiš ih. Uvatiše naše, brate. Do kurca, brate. Ali dobro, izudarali smo ih, brate. Izudarali smo ih i to je to, brate. Nije strašno, daj bre da gledamo ovo, jebote kurac. Nič znamo ko je živ, nič šta je. Lepo, brate, lepo.
Might not let that slide so easily. Quickly though, tables do turn without even losing too much HP. Still 64 shield, 100 HP with that elimination on the board. It's now even turned into a 2 versus 1.
He's going for the revive, but he does have the nitro splashes still, so it's not going to take long for him to break into the box. I think Mappy heard it at the last second. In comes Jude. Trying to disrupt this fight as much as possible. Even if he has just a little bit of a pistol, that's enough to break through some of the builds. They're not slowing down just yet. Another nitro splash. They know they have to seal the deal, but
pa pobili kozečeve, bre.
Buy him some time. He goes on the offensive, trying to clean it up, but that's what's going to do him in altogether. Valiant effort coming out of him trying to fight back from that, but Asa and Jude just expertly played, especially since they were the ones getting that reboot.
Kind of issue for not going in together there.
Ivki, ne mogu to da streamam, jebi ga. Zdravo, Elmine! Koliko mi je Gelsenkirchen? Pa boga mi ima 350 km.
We can see how he was able to take out Lubsky initially. And this is where it kind of all went wrong for Kilo.
Išao bi da su mi deca na raspustu, brat. Išao bi da gledam.
Just landed at least 180 damage overall instead of the 36 that he
Jel mi ne,
landed.
dobro sam,
That
brat,
would have been a whole
super.
different story. That shot when he pushed in would have actually got the elimination, and that just goes to show when you're close to quarters like that and the nitro splash comes in and it breaks the box, it causes a lot of disruption into the game plan. It bumps you back, it forces you to miss a shot, and that's a perfect example of that.
Gotta stay locked in. Gotta stay locked in. Marius Sangild were playing very aggressive in the previous match. I almost always saw them in a fight. There wasn't a lot of times where they were just rotating and playing kind of more towards zone. So they might have changed the pace up a little bit here. Is this another one for Asa? Art skill now. What a way to come back.
It's unfortunate because that's art skill. He was still weak from, remember when he ran away from that first fight. I believe it was Chapatini or maybe Yanis and Pixie that he was fighting against before. They took down his teammate Fire Hunter, and eventually he gets found out. Top 30 situation, seeing the Nitro ring boost along with the Flowberry Fizz, covers so much distance, allows you to slide. You quickly bunny hop yet again, and look at that. Just a hop, skip, and a jump away. They're at the Nitro Drome in zone.
It's what I was saying, Jacob. Wow. Every time I see Marius, every time I see Sangild, they're fighting. And once again, living up to that.
Evo su piju zajedno, brat.
Is not going their way. All it's going to take is one nitro into the boxes. Now Marius.
Evo su piju zajedno, brat. Jedni pored drugih piju zajedno, brate moj. Al plaćanje samo kešom, brate. Evo su Srbi i Englezi piju jedni pored drugih. I niko nikog ne dira.
England fans having drinks, some Serbians, no issues, no problems. Problem is, it's fucking cash only.
Al mora kešom da se plati.
Can't get a beer there.
Teško, ente, teško.
Like a nice little square. England fans having drinks, some Serbians, no issues, no problems. Problem is, it's fucking cash only. 2024. Can't get a beer there. And you got like a nice little square. England fans having drinks, some Serbians, no issues, no problems. Problem is, it's fucking cash only. 2024. Can't get a beer there. And you got like a nice little square. England fans having drinks, some Serbians, no issues, no problems. Problem is
that Ju put in there because it's going to stop them from being able to break in and still allow him to fire a shot right back. So little things in a meta that is this chaotic that really makes the difference. We saw some players defending the Nitro, landing crucial shots, ending up on top, and then little edits to your stairs like that.
Da, neki su napali maskirani, znaš. I popušili su kurac, brate, vidio si. Vidio si kako su se razbežali. Ti kažem iskreno, Aki se, ne bi me čudilo da to budu šiptari, brate. Aki se iskreno ti kažem, ne bi me čudilo da to budu šiptari, brate.
Although it is going to be the most congested side, as all the duos are going to be rotating right towards where they're currently boxed up. So it might be smart if they want to play it safe, seeing that they already have more than enough damage to kind of get a bit deeper into zone here. But at this point, it's already so late that any type of rotation can be risky.
Ma moguće ne stoje Englezi na stuku, ma Englezi se tuku uvek, brate. Ali nisu baš poznati da napadaju Srbe, brate. Znaju oni da je tvrdo. Oni mogu se bio s Holanđanima, brate, sa tamo nekim Indijancima, brate.
They are already going to need some elevation, so why not proactively prepare? Also get a line of sight in that distance. As Yanis Flixie, 6 eliminations so far, 1,400 damage above that threshold. What storm surge? They don't have to worry about it from here on out. They just got to worry about the rotations, and it's going to be quite a doozy when it comes to rotations because they're one of the farthest pulls in the entire lobby, and they have to go up a little bit of mountain into some duos.
Yeah.
Kako Albanci, brate. A pričali su oni koji su ih jurili, a oni što su bežali nisu imali vremena, brate moj, da priče, nego beže. Beže ko zečevi, brate.
just doing all the work here as Vanyak heals up. Both players now looking like they have game-winning loadouts with the amount of damage they've stacked up as well. All they have to do is play consistent here, and we should see
Top 22 ljudi. Svizi i Vanjak su na početku gejma vratili Malom Bući i Merstašu za čišćenje u prvom gejmu. Dela-if je na haju, a? Da. Gde si, Droumane? Ne vidim Truleksića. Eno su dole. Eno su dole Truleksića. Evo su pravo dole ispod, dobre. Drž da spavaš. Au. Od 6 igraš Fortnite. Lepo. Evo su Truleksićićo. Prvi put, brat. Evo su Truleksićićo prvi put, brat. Vide čitera. Bravo. Evo ga, Kilčić lagani. Ma nisam gledao kad sam gledao ovo na Twitteru, ove Engleze. I ove naše.
In terms of winning it, still able to scrape together a top 3, so not bad overall. Positioning as Yanis Pixie, slow and steady wins the race. They don't need damage, it's all about picking the right rotation. They're trying to catch out Chap and Teeny on their rotate. They know they have the damage there. Nitro Splash coming out, and they're just trying to rotate their way to safety.
Sad vidim video, policija upucala navijača, imao sekira i 5 metaka u noge. Ako tako i treba. Koji će mu kurac sekira, majke mu ga nabijem. Ima ruke i flašu, brate, šta će mu sekira, jebom pas majku. Svizi Vanjak dobri, dobri. 1200, treba im još srđa. Treba im još srđa, nije ovo dovoljno. Teni je živ i Čap je živ, Čićo je živ. Top 17, Pixi umro, ako je.
That's Marine who's able to get that elimination, a good amount of loot as well, but piece control is on Yanis' flavor. He's going to start the heal off just a little bit early, try to get together a couple more placement points, very, very similar as he did in game 1.
So many medkits in the inventory, also for Swizzy with 3. If Swizzy's able to retake high ground here with the amount of materials and loot, they should just be able to close.
Voltiax je umro, top 14. Kajdi Marine, Ultimate Low Ground, healaju. Fight na haju. Fight na haju, opa. Svizi i Vanjak počistili Delu na haju. Dela više nije na haju, umro je. Svizi i Vanjak pokazuju zašto su wineri FNCS-a. Čićo je živ, to sam video. Evo ga Čićo. Trulex je umro. Čićo je živ. Top 9. Koliko pjara treba za Akademi? 2500. Svizi Vanjak na haju, Čićo hila.
Only 3 players down below in the zone, the rest of them in the storm.
Yep, there's only one duo left in this lobby. It's Swizzy, it's Vanyak. They're looking down. They're terrified.
Čićo živi dalje, ali teško, ovi ga spreju ko nenormalni. Ovi ga spreju ko nenormalni, brat. Čićo 39 helta. 0 buildova nema, više ne može se sačuva. Top 5, top 5. Čićo je još živ, jebote. Gde su ovi ljudi, gde se healaju, brate? Čiksi umro, top 4, Čićo izvlači top 4. Čićo je još živ, izvlači top 4. Full shield je Čićo, ali je low health.
throws it off.
Yeah, he's gonna play disruptor. He
Top
knows
2!
that they already see it.
Umro je
It's all
Čičo
about
sad.
the clips. It's all about
Umro je
the
Čičo.
goes
Čičo je
down,
umro
goes
treći.
back to back.
Ovo je odličan game za Trulexa i Čiča. Odličan game za Trulexa i Čičo. Čičo je klačo sasvim solidno.
Look, we had a feeling, even just
Ovo je dobro bilo.
end game before the moving zone started, you could look at their loadout, you could look at their materials, you could even just look at their confidence from this duo. They wanted to come out on top.
Trulex i Čičo 6. ljudi. 3. sa 1. Merajni Kajt prvi 104 poena. Svizi Vanjak drugi, iako su umrli na landu prvi game. Prvi game su umrli na landu, Svizi Vanjak, i onda prvi sa 15, ej. Prvi sa 15, neverovatno. Svizi Vanjak drugi, 95, Nepskido 89 treći, Asaju četvrti, Suli Aras 5, 82, Trulex Čičo 6, 80. Janis Pixi 7, Akira 8, Merstaš Mali Buća 9, Ajdrop Hris 11, Cringe Volko 17, Čap Teni 18 sa 46, bili su 8 sa 5 kilova. Sangil Di Marius 22, Delaf Najan 24, Voltiak School 25, Older Shadows 27, Pingvox 26, Vico Flixi 29 sa 20 poena. Tu Skarmi 10 poena 34, Turtle Chips 37, Mapikiro 36, Bad Sniper zadnji, Skydun Vox 44, 2 poena. Dobro je, brate. Chris je 11. Ovaj game je loše odigrao, 35 sa 2. Ali Trulex i Čičo ovaj game treći fenomenalno. Fenomenalno.
Finds out Chicho, finds that second elimination, and takes the game 15 eliminations. Why am I so surprised when I probably shouldn't be at this stage?
I mean, it's what you expect from players at this caliber, but that's definitely shaken up the leaderboard.
Znači,
So we'll
Danska vodi 1-0.
be right back to the desk to break it all down.
Brat luda. Brat jugom iz Vrnjačke banje za Gelsenkirchen, brat. Brat jugom iz Vrnjačke banje za Gelsenkirchen, brat. Živanoviću, gde si? Znak uzvika u chatu CN Academy. Znak uzvika u chatu CN Grind. Vidi šta ti odgovara, pa to je to. CN Academy spojeno, CN Grind spojeno. CN i Academy spojeno. I sve malo. Iz Vrnjačke banje jugom za Gelsenkirchen, brat. Ludaci. Šta sam ja sad vidio, ovo je strašno.
Well, it might be a new meta, but Swizzy and Vanyak are here to prove that their Season 2 win was by no means a fluke. 48th in Game 1, but taking the Victory Royale in Game number 2. And Miniminer, from the start, really, it was the perfect game for these guys.
Yeah, it was. I mean, these guys, wings, I thought might have been their carry last season, but no wings. The party's still here. It's all good. Swizzy and Vanyak are still a team to be and a force to be reckoned with as well. The way they took height here was really nice. They actually used the flow brief to get up, get a little bit of a sneak attack onto Finyan and Della, who actually hold it really well throughout that endgame until that moment. And of course, then from here on out, Levin, it's just easy pickings up on height. They had med kits. They seemed so secure up there. There was absolutely no doubt as soon as they got to this position.
I mean, in the words of my good friend, Coach Harry, these guys are the real deal. I mean, if you didn't figure that out last season, you know, where you've been sleeping, but these guys just pop off in a way that is just mesmerizing to watch on height, man. I mean, you know, 15 elim game from them, of course. I mean, the story with them this season, sort of like what I said earlier with Malibuka and Sashes, are we just going to get the chance to see them play out these games very often? Two top teams contesting each other, it's a rough one, but when they do get a chance to play, they are magnificent.
I'm really curious to see what happens if we do get the fist put back into play with these two. I feel like they're going to just be reinventing the meta as the season goes on. It's really exciting to watch. However, I did mention earlier they came 48th in game number 1, and that is because they have got a hot duo to take on at their red line off spawn, and that is, of course, Mersash and Malibuka Minimano.
Yeah, I mean, this is Major 1 champs against Major 2 champs contesting each other off spawn this season. It is truly a spectacle, and so far, Levin, we have a 50-50. Of course, first game...
Mile zabo, Mile, gledaš šta se dešava u Gelsenkirchenu, Srbija i Engleska, brate, izgleda stvarno da su neki drugi, jer Englezi piju sa Srbima, brate.
Who is going to be the better team going into the late game when they do make it off spawn? Which duo would you say you'd back?
Gledaj, čovjek ima sekiru, brate.
For me, I think I'm gonna have to go with Vanyak and Swizzy. It's like if you're looking at like which team would you rather have coming out of red line rig?
Čovjek bre ima sekiru budala, bre.
Vanyak and Swizzy. I mean, it feels wrong, you know, because you know me, I'm a bit of a nostalgia merchant. So Malibuka and Mustache, they got a bit more history in the region. You know, got a bit more of a bond to them, but Vanyak and Swizzy, they've just been undeniable this season, man.
Kakav idiot. Gledam, brate, na Twitteru, bre, čoveče, Srbi i Englezi piju zajedno, bre. Evo lik došao, popio piće sa našima. Bez problema, evo ga. Paul Brown, UK. I went to Serbia, fans. Popio po piće, brate, overili, čao, doviđenje. To je Albanac što ima sekiru, možda, brate. Vidiš, ovdje je neko drugi uleteo, brate. Ovdje je neko drugi uleteo, brate, nisu Englezi. Ovi što kaže ova ženska malo pre, ovi što su s kapuljačama napali Srbe. Jer evo i ovdje drugi ovaj video, jedni pored drugih piju, niko nikog ne dira, brate. I onda ova ženska što posta ovaj video, da je neko s kapuljačama i maskama došao i napao Srbe. Ali kogod da je Vidjeli smo na snimku, popušio ga i...
I think the moral of the
takeaways
story
here.
here is
Popušio ga i udario u bežaniju, brate.
they're on top.
That is true, but Mini Money, you make a compelling argument, but I don't 100% believe that you actually believe that. I think that you're just being contrarian and actually you're thinking Swizzy and Vanyak are going to be dominating those Osborne battles as the day goes on. And also, 11, you don't get to call yourself a nostalgia merchant. You are just 22 years old anyway.
In the Fortnite world, that's very old.
It's very old, yeah.
Looking back again to, yeah, let's not talk about that. I've talked myself into a hole there, backed myself into a corner. But looking earlier into game 2, Janice and Pixie actually getting really far ahead with their
Ne znam, ajmo novi game, ljudi! Ajde bre, beži! Opet istu košulju nosi ova, brat.
Witnessing a soloist trying to clutch on for dear life, Levin.
Yeah, I mean, look, both of them we know they have that ability, so hopefully we can see them stick together and play it out.
Daj sekiru da vidim. Da ti pokažem na Twitch streamu, streamam na Twitchu i na YouTubeu, da ti pokažem čovek vitla sekirom i policija ga puca, brat. I to da ti pokažem na streamu dobijem ban.
Thanks, Ranky. That we have. Look, maybe we gotta get some games in as well, Jacob. You know, we could be showing up here on EU. I mean, probably not to the level we're seeing today, but as quickly as that, the battle bus is ready. Let's get right into game 3.
Pozdrav, pozdrav.
You know, I'm liking the sound of that, Takata. We've been all over from NA West.
Da, kucaj football fights na Twitteru.
These pro players can change regions.
Kreće novi game, da vidimo sad mali Buća i Merstaš protiv Svizija i Vanjka.
Yet again? Does it look a little uncontested this time around to you?
No way, right?
I think we got a little... Who's backing down?
Oh, mix up.
Which champion is backing down out of that fight?
What happened to never give up, huh?
Okay,
Happened to
never
never back down.
video.
Whoa. I think I see what happened, Jacob.
POI is what happened. It was red line rig. We got
How many
triple
duos?
contested now. Aqua and Noah say, you know what? They're having too much fun over there. I want to...
Aqua i Noah došli kod njih, hej.
Well, this is going to be difficult.
Aqua i Noah se umešali ovde.
Decided, okay, we probably shouldn't land for the higher elevated area, normally where they will take that 50-50, as it gives you the best chance to come out on top at this POI. But no, Aureli and his duo didn't do it either. So now Vanyak and Swizzy have just claimed it off the bat. And this is gonna be a tough one for Merstash and Malabuka.
Yeah, especially battling back from the low ground. They're a little bit late to the fight. If they're already doing that boss fight, they could be able to end it quick. And it does look like they're already being interrupted by multiple third-party shots coming that direction, denying Malabuka an opportunity to try to gain any bit of elevation. As soon as Swizzy and Vanyak
beži.
got the boss, they got the medallion and the loot that they came
Beži,
for.
uzeli pušku i beže
They'd rather
pametno.
survive than take
Svizji i Vanjak uzeli pušku i beže.
And to be fair, with the last match they
I
had,
čao.
good call. It's all about consistency here now. They are
Jebi
playing
ga.
for series points. to
Bet
qualify
Sniper,
for
treći game ubija Pixija.
of the semifinals.
Bet Sniper 2 gamea dead na landu, ali
Points the better, but for
treći game ubivaju Pixija, sad ćemo da
so
vidimo.
hard this time around.
Janis 1 health, Janis 1 health i dead.
jump on the fight.
Napokon Kyrie i Bet Sniper ubijaju
Rounds going their way.
Pixija.
Eventually, Bad
Au.
Sniper and Kyrie put up a good fight. They take him down. Now they have a chance.
Peterbot follow for hard. Šta pričaš, Joksi? Kakav bre Peterbot?
This is the first game that Yanis has not been victorious off spawn, but look what happened here with Noah Rayleigh. They switched up their drop, but now something's gone wrong. It wasn't even any of the duos that were dropping at Brawlers. But looks like right now, the duo partner of Noah is getting put down by Merstash and Malabuka. But my question is, Swizzy, Vanyak, we saw them rotate out. How far did they go? As Malabuka's gonna get dropped down.
He just got beamed. I'm even surprised by what just happened. Merstash by himself. He does have the nitro splashes. He does have a lot of space as well to work with. And then he has Semi kind of double pump with the gatekeeper and that deagle. He can kind of switch them, land a couple big shots. The first one's going to get fired. That's going to do wonders for Mustache and his confidence. Tries to break into the box, has to be careful. Almost gets boxed up himself, but that nitro splash is doing so many great things for Mustache in terms of offensive and defensive tries to try to get into the box, and he finally goes down, but he goes down fighting at least.
This is tricky, Jacob, because game one, only wary Swizzy Vanyak. They had their 50-50. Malibuka Mustache came up on top, got second place. Good start to the tournament. Game two, they went up right off the spawn. No points added. And now in game three, triple contested once again. Barely any points added to the leaderboard. It's just all coming down to the early game for this duo, and I'm not really sure what they can change up at this point.
This is a team that we've seen kind of go through a few struggles so far today, and most of those struggles came at the hands of low ground and nitro splashes, getting kind of jumped on in little fights like this. Luckily for them, the team that was right above them, putting a lot of that attention on them, is going to rotate on out, try to get us better spot in zone. There is still one more very, very close and nearby, but they have their eyes set on this team here, Easy and Akira.
Vejs, pozdrav Vejs. Kaj idime Ryan, da vidimo. Pušaju golda.
There are more duos in their surroundings here, so the third party potential is quite high. But if they're able to finish this engagement quickly, it could be more than enough. That's exactly what the nitro splashes are going to help with, as now the build's going to get broken down.
Bravo, ubio je golda.
Shot connected as well. That's a knock now.
Do sutra solo, mislim da jest.
As you can see, even if they take out this last player at the mini map bottom right, there's another duo that's wondering, should we join the
Novi
party?
duo stiže. Oduzmem Coca-Cola, odmah se vraćam.
Cade and Ryan are actually playing pretty consistent. First place so far. A new duo to this season. Cade's former duo Dioxy went and played with Archie. So there's just a lot of duos swapping this season, no matter what region you're on. And so far, that might look like a blessing in disguise for Cade. And that team, they just didn't know how weak Cade and Mariah actually were. That would have been a great opportunity for them to try to push in, catch them off guard, especially if they were able to get some nitro splashes, but they just thought a little bit too much, hesitated for a little bit too long, and that's going to be it for them. It's going to be it for Teeny as well, as he gets taken down, pushed off the side. It's like one of those pulls, and he just took him out.
We were talking about in the last match, Marius Sangilt. Love action. A lot of fans on socials like seeing them fight, but it's kind of led to their demise in the previous matches, as Karma and his duo partner are going to be the ones that come out on top in that engagement.
Thinking for how long, but they do have some med kits, and just at that mountaintop right there in the background, they do have a launch pad as well, but in that path it's going to be Marius and Sangild, so they do have to be careful as they do rotate in towards zone. At least we know who got one of the two forecast towers for Marius and Sangild. Not sure if they got in any other previous games so far, but this is going to help them so much in terms of their rotates, because when we've seen them go down, Takata, a lot of the time, it's usually because they're stuck at the side of zone, trying to rotate in, down on Surge, or even another team that is down on Surge tries to aggress onto them. With this forecast tower, what I'm hoping is they can stay ahead of the game and pick better spots for themselves to try to position themselves in later in this game.
Ooh, nice shot from Marius. It's huge to hit your quick or high damage pump shots when you can. You can see how quickly, too, they're moving through these builds. Look what Chicho's built up here by the forecast tower, though. This is an interesting base. A lot of cones. I remember, you know, last season they were making use of bush bombs to kind of blend in. Chicho said, you know what, I'm just going to place a few cones here.
These types of bases, something Chicho and Trulix have been doing for a couple majors now, giving them as big of a vantage site, as much information as possible around the lobby. Obviously a thermoscope helps just a little bit, being able to see your opponents. And then Trulix, most of the time down below in certain situations, probably farming up looking elsewhere. This time they're going to have a strength in numbers. It's Flixi and Vico. They end up already with 2 eliminations off spawn, surviving, and they're trying to make up for it with a nice elimination game here, but Vico gets separated. Flixi with just a sliver of HP. He has to try to figure out a way to reunite and alleviate some of the pressure that he's feeling right now, but you can kind of hear the Vico's ready to finish that one off. There goes the first knock. Nitro Splash is making it easy for him to reunite, and he's not going to stop just there. They want the second elimination on Decade, and they want it now.
They're not done. Other Nitro Splash put to good use now. Drops down. 32-32 actually. Gonna finish it off. It was 37, but still a great way to finish those eliminations. 3 on the board for Vico, 1 for Flixi. I'm liking to see this duo perform. Hopefully, they can get a big end game here, though.
Yeah, and they just took down Cade and Marine. First place by 9 points. We already know Swizzy and Vanyak survived, so that's not going to be hard for them to overtake if they can just make it into placements. As Focus and Belusi, they get that 1 elimination onto Karma. We saw them so deep into zone. We saw them already get 1 elimination. But that was the kind of wonder that I had because they had so much distance to cover. How many more duos will they run into and be forced to fight because they don't have Surge?
That's the big question. Belusi and Focus. They do have 2 colas. They got 4 Nitro Splashes just for Belusi. With 1 Elim, 4 points on the board. They're going to want to get a big game here. Zone has pulled quite far as well, so good news is they finished this engagement off quite quickly, so now they kind of can choose where they want to go, but they're being cautious. I feel like they know that there was duos surrounding them, so they're not sure if they're kind of waiting for them or not, but you can kind of assume that when the zone pulls so far, they're not going to wait too long for you, so they should have a pretty free rotate back. For Trulex and Chicho, though, already inside of the zone, can focus a bit more on replenishing those materials, making sure they're incredibly healthy for the rest of this mid game.
Wait, hold that 1 second. Flixi, he's gonna have to do it by himself. Vico's already down, and he's getting chipped away as he tries to gain elevation. And what he's doing is just trying to get away from the possibility of exactly that happening. Nitroing into the box. That's Nathan and CZB. If he's going to continue going up, well, we're going to bring him on down. And this is the opportunity to try to end it right here, right now. And they do so with ease. Flixi's down. Vico already out. And now they gain control.
What a way to get the job done. As now, once again, another duo that, like you said, can not only get the bunker, can also play time here and figure out how they want to get their rotate towards zone. Let's take a look at Swizzy Vanyak. After Merstash Malabuka have been taken out once again, these could be the leaders of this 3rd match. Haris and iDrop were the duos that tried taking height in the first game. But what we've seen from Swizzy and Vanyak isn't that initial height take in the end game. It's more waiting for the right moment to strike. And you can see with the loadout they have, the amount of materials they have. They're planning to do a similar game plan here as the previous match.
All they need is a top 20 first. Obviously, you want more than that. And that'll be the new first place leaders in Swizzy and Vanyak. Not much more for them to do. They got early game surge. And now they're just running around the lobby, just trying to figure out where they're going to position themselves out. I would imagine it's not a ton of surge, though, Takata, because they did disengage out of that contested fight that they were fighting in the first 2 games. It's all about picking and choosing where those opportunities are, and it does look like Ace Frack is trying to pick
Reptil Amazon gifted sub to Marex. Let's go! Let's fucking go! Šta je ovo? Koliko subova je dao, bre?
Sneaky plays are always so fun to watch, especially.
Gifto 1 sub, 2 suba, 3 suba, 4 suba. Reptil Amazon Gifto 4 suba. Reptil Amazon, thank you so much, man. Let's go.
Didn't even get a shot off on Kyrie.
Let's go. Thank you so much.
Almost deleted him. Looked like they one pumped him in a sense. His HP fell down so quickly.
Thanks, bro.
You can't win them all, Jacob.
Yeah, oddly enough, if he would have pre-popped the Nitro Splash, he would have got out of that. Because you saw him turn around, kind of run into boxes. He got boxed up. Almost looked like me out there, but that Nitro Splash would have saved him. Just
I'm here to hear more about Chris for my doc clip about 4th upcomers.
The champions
what you wanna hear about Chris? I can tell you so much because I can say I was pretty much involved in his rise to the champions, let's say. You know.
Business as usual. As
What you wanna hear, anything specific or something, you know?
To use it as a rotation if the zone pulls further away, but right now, no elims are on the board for this duo. I'm curious to how much damage they've been.
Thanks you so much for this,
in a decent position, well, quite a good position
for the
actually,
subs, bro.
with the nitro portals, and also just for the amount of duos that should be
Oh, look at
rotating
Chicho
around them.
Trulex.
Chicho and Trulex, though. Look at that elevation, Jacob.
Milo, ovo što su upucali sa sekirom bio šiptar. Nisu trebali u noge, trebali su u čelo, brate, bilo bi lepše. Ne bi više divljao sa sekirčetom, znaš.
You know as well as I do, sometimes fights do tend to break out up there. Chicho is going to have a good line of sight over on that side of the map as well. And this is what I thought they were doing earlier, but he's just farming up. They built such a big tower. They used some materials to try to make it as safe as possible. And while Chicho's just making sure that the game plan
Pa, znaš, sad mora u zatvoru da ga hrane. Sad mora u zatvoru da ga hrane, mora da mu plate negu, mora da mu leče te noge kod doktora, to košta mnogo. I to sve o njihovom trošku jer su ga oni upucali. A ovako jedan metak bilo lakše, brate. Ajde, sine.
Planning out your rotate, looking for tags. There's always something you can be doing. So it's good to see that.
You're not going to school tomorrow, you will come here anymore.
Curious to see now, though, where this zone pulls. One more second left, we'll hear the noise.
Thank you. And also, my bind hurts like shit.
Okay.
What are you feeling, Jacob? Where's this zone pulling?
Rift Island, southeast somewhere. It would be my guess. Rift Island was a little bit towards the north, had a little bit of west lean. Typically, it does pull away, depending on where. I don't know.
Reptile Amazon, are you here, bro?
Here, it should pull either towards
Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Wow, I drop low, low, low. Chris ubija Shadowxa.
And gets the elimination. A blessing in disguise, because those are the moments we're talking about where you don't expect somebody to be there. You get caught off guard. Luckily for him, he didn't have the
Ne, oni su znali da je on ovdje, brate. Oni su znali da je on ovdje sigurno. Edo, Dedi, hvala za follow. Felix sub with a tier 1, let's go! Let's go! Felix zvani bot! Ide sa sabom, hvala Felixe, hvala legendo! Samo ti možeš kantu da spaseš i niko drugi. Felix živ, brate. Tako je, Felixe, tako je, brate. Samo ti možeš kantu da spasiš i niko drugi. Pored tebe mogu i da plejsa, brate.
When it comes to the
Yes, znaš.
formats for FNCS or any of these other tournaments that we do have on, they're usually at the top of the leaderboard. It's when we get into the set lobbies, they do seem to find those struggles. I can only imagine, though, it's a matter of time, and we see it almost every single season where a team that's used to struggling to kind of make it work.
Izgleda da moraš, Felix, izgleda da moraš.
Rift Island, where he is safe in towards the zone. And this is where Takata, you asked me the question last time, the zone should pull towards the south, maybe towards the east, depending on what POIs are around.
Fingers crossed. Let's see here. I'm feeling more of a east one. Don't know why. For 9, you have to be careful here. Your duo partner is also low. Both players now forced to maybe even regroup here and heal. As the medkit's being popped, they could use a bit of the flowberry to get that AoE healing.
Felixe, moraš da se spremiš, brate moj.
As the zone has pulled east, would have been my lucky day if I was in the lobby. How many duos already set up for that, though? Not quite sure. As Kenty and his duo partner here saw a bit of extra loot they're going to pick up.
Even if it's not much, that little bit extra just could be enough to kind of get you over the top, get you through the next fight, and then you can go and get the spoils from there. You see them boxing up. They know a rift is down there. They ran right past it. That's easy. Be a Nathan who took control of that position and the rift. thing is, before they
0-1 Danska, znam.
to take it for the zone, they want to make sure they're healed up as much as possible first, because they know the possibility of getting tagged up on a rotation like this is high.
Loco Cringe flying through alongside multiple duos now that made use
Kad
of
gledaš Srbiju, naravno. Kako ide? Dobro je, Pajko, dobro je. Trulex 6 i Hristijan 11, ja mislim, dobro je.
up and not only take shots back, but also continue to rotate through here with just 49 damage
Treći
on
meč.
top of the Storm Surge threshold. You know they're
Hi, Reptile. Hi, bro. Thanks for the subs.
those nitro splashes.
Thank you so much.
Charge right through their opponent's builds.
I ask you what you want to hear about the Chris. Anything specific, bro?
For the elimination itself, but see 73 above the damage threshold with Storm Surge.
Bravo, Pajko, bravo.
It's enough to where you feel fine and you're not taking damage, but these players are not comfortable. They know that can turn in a moment's notice. That's why they're making mad dashes left, right, center, trying to go up that mountain just a little bit, give them a little bit more.
Reptile Amazon, what are you making?
Another far pull.
What are you making that about Chris? What is that?
Opportunities for Storm Surge, but it's also going to give
Does
opportunities
Quizzy
for other
presence
players to
affect the
leverage
Chris
shots
and
on you.
Facts? They are both Balkans. Is there any group where they play together?
Not being
Yes.
connected, but with
Yes.
28 above, this is more than
Listen.
enough now to out-heal this part of the zone. I wasn't actually quite able to see. Yeah, the zone pulled even further. All the duos now rushing to try and make it in.
Listen. Oh, thanks for another one. Thank you so much. You don't need to gift anything, bro. You don't need to gift anything, bro. Just chill and listen to me, and you are welcome here. You don't need to gift and spend money on me. I have enough, so thank you so much. Listen, like 3 years ago, long time ago, 3 years is a long time now. You know, oh, evo Felix. Hvala, Felix, thank you, Felix, thank you. Like 3 years ago, there was a group of CN, mostly CN players, with some other Balkan professionals, you know. Quizzy was not in that group, but in that group there was Chicho in that group, and mostly CN players and some other pro Balkan players. And Christian 3 years ago was in that group. I was there, you know. I hope you understand me. Just tell me, do you understand me and hear me loud and clear?
I believe all the way on the other side. Nobody on the full North Pole where there's the most elevation. Nobody on the far east where it goes all the way down the mountain. So with very little
Perfect English. Thank you.
where you can play.
So that group was like long time ago, like 3 years ago, but that group was, you know, active like 1 year, you know, 1.5 year. There was Squee, you know, ex-Chris duo Squee, they qual grants, you know, and there was many CN players there, mostly CN players, and they try-harded from the morning to late night, you know. They played like 10, 12 hours a day. In that time, Christian was not a pro. He was a good player, schooled in my customs, my zone wars, because I am the Fortnite creator, like 5.5 years of experience with the streaming, making custom games in Balkan community, making zone wars in Balkan community. Chris was schooled here, you know, and let's say he was always good. Let's say he was always really, really, really good. But that friend group with, let's say, like 20 people there helped him a lot. But after that, him and Squee, they moved to Quizzy and Vasquez friend group and Trulex and Chicho friend group. And I think that was the main point of his career to become a pro player. I think move to that friend group, learning from Trulex himself and Quizzy himself, helped him not a lot, helped him huge, so he can become a pro player. I also think Squee was 100% the guy most involved in schooling Christian to become what is he today. So that's basically my answer. Anything else?
Opponents know that there's a duo claiming height right now, literally in the clouds. As Swizzy has gone down in the backside of zone. Not sure if Vanyak is still up. But so far, Marius and Sangil, they're playing pretty calm and collected here. I mean, not even too aggressive at all. Just taking shots when they can, staying ahead. Doing what has to be done. As Chicho and Trulex, not incredibly healthy in terms of damage, but as they continue to get tags, they're maintaining the positioning well.
Yeah, they're already in zone, just staggering themselves back, knowing that everybody else had to climb up the mountain.
Niko, kažem, brate, da
Blessing in disguise for the lobby as the zone pulled back.
ova kriza ekonomska, vrlo zajebana situacija, brate. I mora da se sadi sad paprika i pasulj, da se ima za zimu, brate. Oću, Pajko, oću, brate. Marius i Sangel na haju, evo Trulex i Chicho. Top 13 je, ljudi. Kido ubio Mapija. Hvala Bogu da ove možda gledamo. Marius i Sangel na haju, Chris i Idrops. Chris i Idrop, tu su odmah second high, pored Trulex i Chicha.
Looking above, Marius Sangil doing a good job of applying pressure to the duos that are second height, so they know that they're being looked at and they don't get a lot of time to think about retaking it.
And the chance for any of those players to really look up and focus the high ground is long gone, especially with the nitro splashes. You're seeing a lot of the chaos everybody's going through. The only other team that I think is down there right now that has smooth sailing is Chicho and Trulex, but they're that second height. They're the ones getting focused by Marius and Sangil and
Polako, polako, Truli, polako, ide Nitro, bravo. Nep skidu. Mnogo kilova, opa! Chris ubija! Ne, Chris je dead, ne! Ne, top 5 je sad. Beži bre, Joksi. Daj, Drop je živ. Ne, Chicho, ne, Chicho. Daj bre, ubijte bre ovog Mariusa. Živi su top 5, živi su jedan i drugi. Chicho 0 maca, skače ko kengur. Jebi ga 0 maca. Da ima bar 2 builda, brate, koliko bi bilo lakše. Ode fokus. Gde je Trulex? Trulex heala. Trulex heala. Opet Marius, top 4. Lens tu. Ne, ode Trulex, jebem li ti mater. Nice to hear that, so much material in 5 minutes. Use this with your permission, of course. Will you send you for the checking prior publish? No problem. Do you need anything else? I can tell you much more. Look, my bro. Basically 3 years ago, we already knew that Chris is a, let's say, future prodigy, you know. He was really, really good always. We knew that when he played the custom games and wins them easily. He wins so much custom games in my streams. It was incredible, you know. And he won so many zone wars easily with a lot of kills, you know, and that. Basically, we knew 3 years ago he was a future star, but moving to Trulex, Vaske, Chicho, Quizzy friend group, their Discord, he needed to become a pro. You know, Knowing Quizzy, knowing Trulex, knowing Chicho, those guys are, let's say, perfectionists. It must be perfect or nothing else. You already see it in this game now. Chicho and Trulex were top 5 last game, now this game top 3, I think. That's perfect, you know, must be perfect. And in that friend group, you probably learn from the best, 2 best maybe IGLs in the world, Trulex and Quizzy. And Christian, there is no way Christian should not be pro player like he is today. So that's about it, that story. But even before that, he was really, really good. He was good as a part of CN team, as part of my team. He was here. But, you know, Quizzy, Chicho, Vasque, Trulex made a huge impact, and this is that Chris today, Chris pro player who was in, he's still very, very young, and he already had 1 grand finals FNCS. Now he's on his way, maybe probably to 2nd, I think, and that's it. I hope I helped you, and you are welcome to use this material. You are welcome to use this material. Oh, he was 2. Aha. He had 2 grand finals, now 3rd. Maybe I'm confused. Okay. Maybe I forgot. I'm old man. So you are welcome to use this material without any problem. So please do. I hope I really helped you. Momci, ajde vidimo tabelu. Leaderboard, please. Nebs Kidov 1, Trulex Chicho 2, Chris 3. Evo ga, Balkan on top. Sangild Marius 4. Trulex Chicho 4 sa 3. To je dobro. To je dobro. Asa i U5, oni se ne pomeraju, brate. Oni se ne pomeraju, Asa i U. Sangild i Marius 1 sa 8. To ih je bacilo skroz na 4. poziciju. Vrlo je mala razlika, ljudi, ovdje. 9 poena. 9 poena. 139, 134, 130. Tek je 3. game, ima još. Znači, ovdje je svašta moguće, ljudi. Ovdje je svašta moguće. Dobro, Pajko. Zato, brate, će ti lajkuju Twitter kad na kurcu nikne nokat. Gde su Čapi Teni? Cvizi i Vanjak 7. Bili 20 sa 2. Merstaš Mali Buća 14. Umrli na lendu. Dobro, to smo vidjeli.
Exemplary performance from them, especially in that final zone. We just kept following the guys. It was just inevitable that they were going to take the victory royale, mini miner.
Yeah, really nicely done from this team.
Čapi Teni, ne idem dobro.
High end game from this duo. It was a pretty easy high end game when it came from their perspective, because really nobody contested them for it at all. I think the zones definitely had a part to play in that, and the way they ended up playing was really good. But a difference here, we saw Marius dropping down here 11, trying to get those.
Čapi Teni, brate, ne idem dobro nikako. Miljak kaže, gdje je Jelka? Evo je, brate. Možda vidiš, brate, orman tu iza mene, možda i ne vidiš. Da li vidim? Ne vidi se. Evo je Jelka na ormanu, brate. Nisam mogao da je ne sačuvam, brate moj. Evo je Jelka na ormanu. Morao sam Jelku da okačem na orman ovdje, da je imam, brate. Da je imam, brate. Jebem ti, Mile, imam 15 reklama. 15 reklama, meni 4 centa u džep, brate. 4 centa sam zaradio na tebi upravo, brate. Još malo pa ću da imam za poklopac od paštete, brate.
My oh my, Denmark is going to be having an absolutely wonderful summer.
Is this just a meta thing working out for these guys?
Što ne može Pajkud izlaze reklame, brate moj, kako njega da zajebem da i on ima reklame. Ne može, živi u Srbiji, brate, ne izlaze mu. Ja bih rekao da si ti Carnexov model, a ne. Nisam jeo Carnexu po štetu 20 godina, brate. 20 godina, a rado bi je pojeo, veruj mi, brate. Brate, ja sam mesna industrija model. Argetin model. Pa gledaj, brate, pojedem, ne mogu da kažem da ne pojedem. Pojedem, brate, 2-3 paštete mesečno, brate. Pojedem, volim da pojedem paštetu, ono. Šteta nemam Carnex koja je mnogo bolja od Argete. Nemam je. Ima Argeta ovdje u Nemačkoj, Carnex nema, jebi ga. Ali volim da pojedem paštetu i voleo sam i kao klinac, ali Carnex, brate. Jel kod vas ima u Frankfurtu Edeka, Jusić, Bosanska Edeka? Ima Bosanska Edeka od mene 5 km. Bosanska Edeka. Od mene 5 km nije Jusić, nego je neka druga. Ali opet ono, imaš da kupiš suđuk, imaš da kupiš suvo meso naše, imaš da kupiš naše kobasice. Je, znaš, je li ima u Frankfurtu Karađorđeva? Ima, ima. Imaš da kupiš sve naše, brate, ono, šta znam, keksove, kafu, ono, Grand kafu imaš da kupiš, Minas kafu imaš da kupiš svašta nešto, brate. Argeta paštetu. Je, znaš, svašta nešto. Razumem ja tebe, Miljak, ozbiljno, brate, ali razmišljam se da li te banujem ili da te ne banujem, brate, to se razmišljam. Čarzi, pozdrav! Ljudi, Trulex Čićo drugi, Hris treći, male razlike u poenima. Pozdrav, pozdrav. Pozdrav, ja živim blizu tebe. Hoćeš na kavu nekada? Ne, brate, više volim da pijem kavu sa mojom ženom nego s tobom, brate. Hvala ti.
I mean, for sure. I think you look at both of these players and they both had their fair share of ups and downs with previous duo partners. And you know, the key conversation I've always had around Nigel is just self.
Ludnica je, Muksić, ludnica, brate moj, stvarno. Stvarno je ludnica, brate. Policija je na svakom koraku gdje se okreneš, policija. Tamo lete sirene okolo, brate. Brate, ajde troje na kafu. Ajde troje na kafu. Kojih troje, brate? Šarzi? Kojih troje, brate?
Well, we've seen a lot of the familiar names who have been making it to the end games each time, so let's see if that consistency carries over to game number 4 with Djole-kubura and Takata.
Consistency is key, Takata, and that's what we're seeing about some of these teams. It's not just the meta, the nitro splashes, but you're seeing the consistent game plan that a lot of these guys have. They stay away from that ultimate low ground layer in these end games because they know that is where you have the highest chance of kind of getting nitro splash and getting your game tossed away.
You have the consistency, but you also have the inconsistency of these early games, right? I mean, Merstash, Malibuka, Banyak, Swizzy, they had, you know, their 1v1, 2v2 going on, but now all of a sudden there's another duo in the mix. Noah Rayleigh said, you know what, I'm gonna drop there.
Šta je Noreliju da ode, brate, tamo da kontesta ove, brate? To mi nije jasno. Kreće novi meč, ljudi. Ajmo.
Almost all day long, the gap between first and everybody else has been very, very minimal. In the second half of the day, it's only 5 points between first and second place.
Ali ima da lete I da lete.
37 points between first and
Ile,
11th.
ličiš mi na
That is almost
komšiju.
nothing in terms of one of these games. You pop off, you have a big game, now you're in contention of that first place spot.
It's a difficult path for a lot of these duos. But look at this. Kiduo Nebs up against. And it's all down to a 50.
Kido ga ispuši, brate. Ispuši ga, Kido, koliko je glup, brate moj.
And now the 2v1 onto Nebs. Both players pretty low on HP, but it's still going to be difficult. Did I just hear that correctly?
Yeah, you heard that.
I did.
Dobar dan, Miki, dobar dan.
Just tried to drop down into the barrels. I mean, builds to catch himself. I assume he didn't have enough builds to catch himself. But Karmi 2's just really won that fight. What seems like without even trying.
Neps umro sam. Neps umro sam. Umro Trulex, ne seri.
There, but kind of broke his nose on the wall as he was falling down. So we'll look back here.
Ne seri da umro Trulex.
Have claimed the better drop, but they don't have any eliminations, so they didn't really take that 50-50.
Dobro, dobro, dobro. Noreli Aqua tu, svi zivanjak bekofaju. Fight Malibuća, svi zivanjak bekofali tamo levo. Ili ti desno.
Yeah, now that it's kind of known that Noah and Aqua are rotating over, contesting this in a triple contested, everybody's playing a little different. That last game, you kind of get the benefit of the doubt, kind of reactionary, especially with Malibu.
Mile Puma, možda bi mi mogao biti tata. Ne bi mogao, brate, ja ne pravim decu glupu, brate. Ne bi mogao, moje deca su pametne, inteligentne, brate. Ja ne pravim glupaki.
At Brawler's Battleground, Yanis and Pixie. The first game they didn't come out on top was the last one, so is it going to be a repeat? Or can they continue their dominance from the initial matches here? Cola being popped. Just 1 HP was left over from those initial shots. Bad Sniper is incredibly low as well, but Kyrie, almost 200 effective HP and shield. It's an even game right now.
Yeah, he has to figure out how to reposition and help out Bad Sniper because Yanis got the time that he needed to get the shields up. Pixie going straight in for the 1v1, knowing that Bad Sniper can't help. Janice is going over the top as well. They're trying to 2v1 while they have the chance, but it does look like Kyrie was able to reposition, and that was so crucial instead of just fighting that 1v1 because now they still have a strength in numbers. It's just now it's much more of an even fight due to the lack of shields.
Trying to crouch to not give away his position here. See what can be done.
Opa, novi tim, a?
But I think Pixie and Yanis might know.
Gotov je Bad Sniper, ja mislim.
Idea of where a Bad Sniper is. Both players now backed up. You can see they've taken so much time. There are opposing duos kind of getting closer and closer for potential third or even fourth parties. So now it just might not even be worth it to close out this engagement.
Iskilaše se sad ovdje. Iskilaše se sad ovdje. Kyrie dede, sam rekao, gotov je Bad Sniper. Mile Puma još na pivo. Mrznu pičku maternu, bre. Pusti me, gledam FNCS, sjedi govna. Koje pivo ima 12 godina, nisi popio pivo u životu. Duvaj ga, bre.
Not necessarily contesting Brawler's Battleground, but that threatens for a third party.
Yeah, it's a difficult situation. But it looks like the hunt isn't quite on yet.
Opa, opa, opa. Opa, opa!
Continuing that momentum.
Opa, vataj ga sad, Sangil da vataj! Ne!
As now he's gone down and left Sangil alone.
Ne, ubi Belušija, 1-1 su, a ne? Da, ne, da, ne, da.
Belusi unfocused at the end of that last game, crashing through some of those boxes with the nitro splash, and now they're just trying to...
Samo ga ubi, molim te, samo ga ubi. Tako je! Tako je, bre! Capiteni, opa! Opa!
Stolen away that elimination. They realize where they're at the leaderboard is not where they feel they should be, especially with how dominant they've been.
Merstaš ubio Svizija! Merstaš ubio Svizija!
They have a gap that they need to fill, and they're going to do it with elimination points.
Yeah, they did a great job leading up to FNCS, and even at the start of these matches, when we've seen them perform, they have been getting their eliminations. I'm not really sure how they keep going down before securing a lot of points in the end game. Something must be going wrong in those last zones of the mid to late game, but all it really takes is a couple of good matches. So you never really know. Malabuka Mustache, though, I mean, the loot they have doesn't look great, but if there's any duo that can get a comeback from a difficult off-spawn situation like the one they've been put into...
A Aqua i Noah su pobegli odmah, vrat. Izlutali malo i pobegli odmah.
They definitely got a lot of time in the world because of the cactuses that are around the southern portion of the map.
Evo ga replay. Evo ga replay. Jo, 3 health ostalo. 3 health je ostalo Merstašu.
Malabuka, Mustache using their dynamic duo to go ahead and take down Vanjak next. So, struggles.
Jeli, šta se dešava Slovenija-Danska?
Asa and Ju now. They kind of saw some duos surrounding them, but nothing that made them want to go aggressive. Actually just went to see what was left over from that fight.
Alo, brate, kako je u Frankfurtu? Kiša, brate, kiša.
I mean, it is what it is. Karma getting knocked down, though. Vortex and Glebski. On the other end, I think last match they actually got eliminated by that duo, so now able to return the favor with a quick 2 elims. Edge of the zone as well, so not too many other duos in sight.
Kind of free rotation. Just like we said in some of those other games, the only real position you have to watch out for is the mountain, which you already see. There's nobody boxed up there. But the forecast tower that we've seen Marius, Sangild, Chap, Teeny fight for game after game after game, and already it looks like Chap and Teeny are going to try to be one of the first ones there. Almost every game so far, they were beat to the punch by Marius and
Pnaux
Sangild,
visuals, thanks for the follow.
on top of that forecast tower, box up and gain all the space. This time around, Chap and Teeny are hoping this is a whole different story.
Cade now. Looks like he wants to make a move with that nitro, but with one shot connected, he's still one away from securing that elim. He has lost his duo partner, but so has his opponent.
Evo, follow, nadam se si dobro. Odlično sam, nisam dobro, odlično sam.
It's really the only kind of semi-counter you can do for the nitro.
Artskill dead, Merain dead.
To breathe.
1v1.
Yeah, extended fight right now. T-Chips was able to kind of get healed up, and the way he was playing defensive against that nitro splash, knowing put some ramps down, go up a few layers, don't let it easy.
Karticu možda.
Knock into the box over and over and over. He's trying to be one of the first teams to rotate out.
Jurnjava, bato jurnjava.
Risky to overstay. There's no cactuses on this side of the map, so no free heals for you. Cade with a huge advantage in terms of HP and shield is going on the offensive, and that's going to slow down his opponent, knowing it's basically fight or I go down trying to run away.
Gotta be careful here as the clock's ticking. Good news is they do have medkits in the inventory, so you can't out-heal zone here. Cola as well popped with a nice 2-piece.
Ti što je glupo, ovaj ga čeko, brate, no baš ovo.
4 eliminations on the
Ovaj
board.
ga
Should be
baš
able to pick
čeko.
up his duo partner as well. Get the reboot. Launch pads later to get into zone, so no more issues for that duo. But for Chap and Teeny, they're hungry for more.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be Marius and Sangild, but it's Finn and Kenty that's going at it right now, and a couple knocks going sideways and quickly eliminated as we tune in. There's another team sneaking up. They're just below them. Maybe they're trying to rotate by, but that's SNK and Nazen. And Teeny and Chap, they immediately drop down. They don't want to get chopped out. Fall damage coming through. Waste another nitro splash. They want to take the fight to them.
Tonko, hvala za follow.
It's a exactly what they're going to try and do.
Mile,
here.
oš 1v1 u
have
pivu.
the
Oću,
elevation.
brate, oću.
But to be fair, they've already given their opponents enough time to be at a decent amount of HP and shield, but with the nitro splash popped, I think they don't care about that, Jacob. They still want to play aggressive. They still want those eliminations. And that's exactly what they're going to go for here at 48. It's not a big enough shot to be fully confident, but with no more shield left on SNK, it could open up more than enough of a chance here to get that initial knock.
Yeah, just forcing him to reposition every single second. Teeny not slowing down, continuing to stay on the chase. And as soon as he reunites with Chap, it does look like they're going to let that team disengage. Just a little too risky. Especially when I don't think they've actually grabbed the forecast tower yet. So they might have to rotate back for that one.
I don't know what I want to see from this duo. I mean, they play so well, aggressive, but at the same time, the difficulties they've had to get those consistent points throughout these matches, I want to see them kind of play out a late game here, but now they have more than enough damage. They have more than enough loot, so hopefully this can be the match where we see something happen. For iDrop and Haris, we saw them in the first game play quite confidently, but since then, they've had a bit more difficulty in the late game. Early to mid game, though, they have their surge strat planned out, and it works pretty well, so we'll see if they can keep that up.
Yeah, they've been pretty consistent so far. I know they had a 48th place, but a first and a 7th with 17 eliminations in those games. Noah, Aqua trying to pick up the pace. Switched up their drop spots just a little bit, the overall game plan, and they're trying to figure out still how to make it work. But Aqua gets caught off guard yet again. The Nitro Splash proving to be a huge tool in the tool belt, but the trades go through. Noah's at least able to get a knock, but Ju's not slowing down or stopping just yet. And you can see playing very, very careful, knowing when to dash into the boxes. But Noah's able to get one on him. The Nitro Splash to save him from the fall damage. Ju just reacting very,
Ju,
very quickly to
brat,
keep himself alive.
79 health sa dead.
In terms of
No, really, Aqua fight mi ubi ga, Aqua, molim te. Tako je, tako je, tako je. Nema gde, nema gde. Nema gde, 55 healtha. Ne daj mu medkit, ne daj mu. 4 builda, ne! Aqua, ne! Ne! Došli su Mapi i Kiro, dobre. Dobre, došli su Mapi i Kiro, nema ovdje leba. Tako je, uletanje, uletanje. Ne, tu, prošao si ga.
Ju just completely stopped in his tracks. He's just hiding under the cone while they let him get distracted by Noah Riley. A huge blessing in disguise, but I don't know how much HP he actually has to try to survive.
Jus je sakrio, mamu mu jebem. Ode Noareli, ovo ne valja. Šta je s ovim imunom? Da. Ode Ju. Dobre. Lepota jedna, bre.
All they had to do was play together, play safe, and they secured exactly what they had to. Chapantini once again. Non-stop action, looking like Marius and Sanguild right now. And it's working out for them with the shots they're connecting here. Axe Force now trying to run away, but how much time will it take for Teeny to hit that shot? It's going to be Chap, actually, that closes it out.
That was just so unfortunate on the Axe Force. Teeny knew Chap was going to come crashing in on the other side. He just waited. Say, he's either going to stay in my box, I'm going to land a shot, or he's going to go into your box and you're going to land the shot. Just showing how aggressive they can be. They have finally flipped that switch and things are moving on all cylinders for them. See who in this lobby can kind of stop them in this game. You see Easy B and Nathan. They're trying to stay ahead of the curve. They've been progressively getting deeper and deeper into each and every one of these games. Just they haven't had that pop-off moment that they're used to in the open sections of these lobbies.
Looking at the leaderboard too, 3 of the top 5 duos already taken out. Only one's left. iDrop Riss and Trulex Chicho. I mean, they're just playing for those series points that's going to decide if they go to the upper or lower bracket. But every single placement matters. Every single elimination matters to help you towards that.
Nije tebi lako, brate, nije tebi lako.
Voltiax and Cool are kinda... I wonder if CZB and Nathan know. You think they know they're in this bush?
I don't think
There's no way, right?
I think what Cole and Voltiax are doing is hoping that they go straight down into the box and come out that door right there. And that's where they're going to try to attack them. I'm not sure if CZB and Nathan are actually going to rotate that way, because usually I see players kind of go out the side, off the top of the building, but that is going to be what they're looking for, and that's what they're going to be patient for. And if it works out for them, it's kind of talking about patience is truly a virtue. As Vico takes a little bit of fall damage going down, but not too much to worry. Medkits are there. They're looking for Griff on the other side of this cover.
Ode u skurac me.
No. Both players crouched up in the wooden box.
Idemo.
Yep.
Oh, here it is. Griff, this is not a way you want to go down. 2 players, Nitro Splash right into your box. I mean, I'm thinking of the options, Jacob. We talked about it. You can place a ramp. It's going to help you for that initial charge in, but then you got 2 players from various angles. There's only really...
Ti nisi Sigma, ti si kurac na bicikli, brate.
Anything happen. Mustache Malibuca now. We saw the difficulty they had off the start. Let's see how they're looking now. Look at that loadout after taking out Swizzy and Banyak. Look at those materials, the loot. They're right back in the game.
Yeah, huge pick-me-up. They're able to kind of save the shield. We talk about what having that medallion is able to do to your Storm Surge game. You're constantly not only able to save the resources and the heals, but stay ahead of the curve, make some risky plays, and see they position themselves on top of one of the islands with the zone moving in very, very heavily from the southeast. Malibuca and Mustache are hoping that a lot of the players that are trying to rotate in are going to have to go through them, and that's where they're going to continue to pad those surge shots that they need.
Cringe now, and Volko in a sticky situation. Good news is, though, the shots aren't connected quickly enough to put themselves in a position to just get back into zone, as it has pulled quite far, and it's even coming to a close. They're going to want to start rotating here shortly. Volko's low on HP. Good thing is, you can see he has a med kit. Wonder how many, though. They only have 1 med kit. Hopefully they can start moving here soon.
Chapatini here at it yet again. They already 6 eliminations. Well, make it 7 as they take down both Kiro and his teammate, making it look easy, just crashing into those boxes. And you can see they've cleared out a little vicinity all around them from fight after fight after fight where nobody is going to be close by. Even with a far pull, I feel like there's no problems going out for them. Mappy's going to be the first one that's dropped. And you already saw Kiro, he was the second one. Even with a good shot on Tini to try to back him down, it's just 2 players just nitro splashing into your box. It's just too much to overcome at times.
It really is. Haris and iDrop, one of the last standing duos in the top 5 here. They're looking like they can get quite the game done as well. 4 points away from passing Trulex and Chicho, who are still up. You can see they have 0 elims, so they are kind of a little desperate in terms of looking for damage. From the edits, you can see they're kind of looking for anything possible. But we talked about it earlier. You always want to be doing something, and in this part of the game, it's looking for those shots.
Vico, Flixie, with a much better couple of games outside of the first 2. Trying to really pick up the pace and even match the likes of Chap and Tini. Because it's all about those series points at the end of the day. Where you finish 1st through 50th in this lobby, you get series points granted. After 2 weeks, where you're at on the series point leaderboard determines if you go to the upper or the lower bracket in the semifinals. So it's all about consistency throughout 2 weeks. We've seen some players kind of scrap together a placement inside of the top 50, inside of the lower bracket. And I think we're going to see a lot of possibilities just like that as Vico's just trying to escape a lot of the mats being used, but use them before you lose them because they're hot on his heels.
Gotta be careful. 373 above, but that's not the worry for this duo. It's the pressure that's being applied to them. Vico's been completely cracked, down to just a little bit more than 20 HP. And his duo partner Flixie now forced to heal up. Looks like they're making good use of their inventory though. Maybe even flow bearing as they are healing at the same time. Or those colas popped.
These are 2 teams that have fought already multiple times today. Tarps kind of getting the best of them 1 or 2 times. And I know they don't know that's them, but this would be Good revenge elimination.
Uskoro će placementi. Skydon ubio Vispena.
And started to gain momentum on your side, but now that they're 321 above the damage threshold, they have a huge chunk of HP missing out of Vico. They have to be very, very careful and not take too
Evo su
big
Trulex i
risks,
Čić.
not too soon at least.
Au, 68 bilo.
Stormsurge taking as well.
Oni nemaju ništa.
No more shields to use, only floppers and medkits.
Oni nemaju
They can
ništa,
out-heal it
jebote
for a little
kurac.
bit, but if they don't find anything big, could it be, say, Nathan and CZB? Can they peek out?
Oni nemaju ništa, jebote. Ne, morao si da pogodiš to bi to bilo. To bi bilo to, samo da je pogodio.
They go down here. It might mean that the only duo left in the top 5 is iDrop and Haris, and it looks like that's exactly what's going to happen.
He started it a second too late. He got up to 23 HP when Storm Surge ticked for 25. Chicho's still down below it. But it's almost a blessing in disguise because they both would have been taken out. And now Chicho at least going to give himself a fighting chance with a couple more players still needed to go down. The Nitro Splash, the dash across. He knows somebody tagged him up, waiting for them.
Ulete, mali buća. Mali buća, ulete kod Čića, baš na placement, ej. 27, brate, 27.
Now looking to reclaim their positioning on the throne here. Started off so strong in the first match, but now have to recuperate what they've lost. Being in the dirt here is scary though, with so many duos surrounding them. They have split up their materials here. They're looking healthy in terms of loot, mats, and shields, but even damage, I just don't know about the positioning. They need to make it the zone. They need to elevate
Oh,
themselves a little bit.
Haksune,
There's so
desi,
many
bre.
duos around them that kind of a risky place to be in.
This is a perfect catch-up game for everybody outside of the top 10. Majority of the teams inside are either down and out or missing a player. Even iDrop, third place to start this game, 138 points. Finding himself as a solo, and it's barely as placement points are setting in. Top 22, so there is a ton of placement points to grab as iDrop lands a great shot. But he's not feeling that confidence to go ahead and try to clean that one up. That's because he's a solo.
Chris je dead, ljudi, iDrop je solo.
54 above. The last player standing now of the leaders. Nice shots connected in the air. Good job getting ahead
Hoće
as
se
well.
promeniti
You can see
tabela
he's
posle
playing
ovog
top
gejma,
right
brate.
now. I wouldn't be
Posle
surprised
ovog
to see
gejma
quite a
bit će
solo
svašta.
clutch come through from this. Back and forth with the Nitro. I think he was trying to dip his toes in the water there, but unable to do so.
Yeah, who would have thought? Akira on the other side started this one around 6th, 7th place. One of the only other players inside other than Cade all the way at the low ground. Everybody is just solos inside of that top 10 trying to get these points, hold on to their position. And this is a great chance for someone like CZB and Nathan to finally pick up the pace while everybody's down. Stop them from getting points and you grab as many points as possible. And with each team that goes down, placement points to grab.
That's a good pull as well. Pulls a little bit west, almost even southwest here.
Kad će tryhard? Uskoro,
Where
uskoro,
CZB and
brate.
Nathan were already based up at. So you can see they're going to quickly build some metal there, let it construct before the zone starts moving. Cade with 6 elims though isn't going to be looking for height. He's going to be looking to get ahead of zone here. Even more eliminations alongside that. Actually, as a solo, he might even want to follow the zone here and play it like the solo clutch route. Nice rotate coming through.
You know, other than lacking maybe some nitro splashes and materials, his loadout isn't all that bad. He has the
Mišljenje o Kliksu, peder bre. Peder, čist peder.
ran out of materials almost all the way. His last build's gonna be placed. All that danger kind of goes out the window momentarily. Chiefs and Turtle, they rotate right on by Cade, allowing for him to stay alive. This is a blessing in disguise, and he still has 3 medkits.
Mrstaš i mali buće na haju.
A chance to stagger himself back. He could scrape together some more placement points doing just that.
Kajd je solo.
Replace comes through.
Gold je tu.
Not fully
Pokušava da mu uleti.
committing yet. Nitro splashes. All he has are those dashes.
Kao Fortnite player ne valja ni za
I mean,
kurac,
3
brate.
medkits is a lot of time that you can save. iDrop continuing with a solo clutch, but it might be coming to an end here as he's just down to 8 builds. Manages to get ahead of the
Push
zone
toga.
for how long? With just 1 HP
Jebik,
left.
jebik.
High drop goes down, and Merstash and Malibuka, they've retaken height.
Top 5 is wide open for the taking. You might just have to go through Cade, who's making wonders happen here as a solo. Still has the 2 medkits. He can stagger himself at any moment. He just wants to get a little bit deeper into the zone and really make those points count. Flowberry Fizz waiting, because he knows the audio visuals will give away his position. So he waits for the last second, and now he's trying to make a mad dash, but gets tagged up yet again, taken out by Polish.
Mali Merstash continuing to rain from above. I'm looking for CZB Nathan. I see CZB down below. I'm not sure where Nathan went. The duos that got dropped down back into the water. Turtle is going to be second height, making his little turtle boxes, but not enough for Mali and Merstash to not apply that pressure onto. Cringe dropped into the wrath of all the duos now that are down below, low on materials as the chaos unfolds up above.
Battle for the high ground. Merstash with a big shot is going to drop him down, force him to disengage, but he said, no, you challenge me, you will finish this fight. And Merstash drops down for the chase. 7 eliminations picked up so far. They are trying to close that gap as much as possible. 128 points. They are well on their way to the top side of that leaderboard.
They're trying and they're getting there as they now have popped these medkits. They did lose quite a bit of HP that's now been recuperated.
Oni ako ne vinaju ovo, ništa, brate. Ali evo ga, tu si, karmi su tu, brate. Ne, ajde, vrati se. Ba! Ne. Mile, Akademije 400 PR-a. Anko, gde si? Ne zasmijavaj me, kak su ne zasmijavaj me, brate.
Nitro splash left. They know a couple players around any one of these corners, so they're waiting for the perfect moment to use it and crash into some of these boxes.
We gotta be careful though. CCB has gone down. Nathan as well. Looks like it's gonna get closer to that 2 versus 2. Or have I spoken too soon? Is CZB still up? No, it's Voltiax. It's Cool. Malibuka's dropped down right onto them as well. As Cool's been taken out. Malibuka on the hunt. Connects the shot. That's another elim for Mali.
Umro, nije!
Player up, it's Turtle. And it's going to be a 1v2.
Yeah, it goes through almost unnoticed. Squeaks together a couple more placement points, but when you're going against Malibuka...
Koliko je Ford propao? Pa nije baš, brate. Ali dobro, šta ćemo, brate. Nije baš propao, ali dobro.
The Major 1 champs are back, and some of the contested teams coming out on top, securing the VRs in these matches. And somehow, from low ground to high ground, Malibuka and Merstash closed it out from getting contested off spawn by another 2 duos, triple contested, to taking out the champions, Swizzy and Banyak, and ending it off with a nice high ground retake to close out the match. It couldn't have been done better.
Yeah, they've played 2 games essentially so far because of that contested. And the 2 games that they played, second place, 8 eliminations, and this victory right here with 11. Other than that, they have a 50 and 42nd place, and they're still going
1-1 Slovenija Danska. Šta misliš o malom bući? Pa mislim da je Rus, brate, mislim da je Rus. Tabela se promenila puno. Tabela se sigurno puno promenila. A Merstaš i Mali Buće su došli na prvo mesto, brate, sa ovom pobedom. Ljudi drugi bili, pa umrli 2 na lendu, pa prvi sa 11. Merstaš i Mali Buća prvi, Ajdrop i Hris drugi, Ajdrop i Hris i dalje drže. Merajni Kaj treći, Nepskidov četvrti, Akira peti, Trulik Čićo sa 3. pali na 6. Ne, sa 2. pali na 6. 27. sa 0 umrli, šteta. Šteta, ali dobro, i dalje su tu. Jebi ga, brate. I dalje su tu, dobre. Jebi ga, Firehunter 7, Sangel Marius 8, Asaju 9, Voltex School 10, Svizi Vanjak 11. Mile za Akademi samo Quad Edit. Da. Cringe Volko 13. Ovima baš ne ide, brate. Čap i Teni 8 kilova 21. Njima baš ne ide, brate. Baš im ne ide, brate. Skajdun i Vox 4 poena 49. Noareli i Aqua 47, brate. Pa jebi ga, aki se što da radimo, brate. Pa šta ćemo, brate. Tus je bio sad u endgame, bio je 5 sa 6. I jebi ga, tek je 26. Aki se ponećemo puške, brate. Ja sam, već me vata nervoza, brate. Bliži se utakmica, ej. Ovi da požure, da se ovo završi što pre, brate, da možemo da gledamo. Pa nema veze, brate. Šta je tu je sad, brate? Evo ga najbolji snimak. Evo ga najbolji snimak kako su Englezi napali Srbe i kako su posle bežali. Ajde da gledamo, brate. Ovo je iz ugla Engleza, brate. Znači ovde Englezi prilaze baru gde su Srbi. Prilaze kafiću gde su Srbi. Srpska zastava je tu, Englezi kreću u napad. Da vidimo šta će bude. Pa desi ceo dan! Pa desi, čekaj da odgledamo ovo. Ovo je ugao od Engleza, brate. Šta ćemo sad? Šta ćemo sad, brate? Šta ćemo sad? Pregrupacija, izlazak napolje iz kafića, napad Engleza i dalje traje, naših dvojica, trojica napolju, primaju udarce stolicama i izlaze napolje. Izlaze napolje i kreće. Idemo, bre, beži, bre. Pa gde si vučen ceo dan, brate? Beže ko zečevi, bre. Beži, čim izašlo njih više od 5 bežanija, ba to. Čim izašlo više od 5, odmah bežanija. Kako je lepo gledati, ja. Za sad je naša dvojica napolju, koliko ja vidim. Drže stolice, brate. Evo izlazi 3., 4., 5. i već kreće bežanje. I već kreće bežanje, brate. Au, brate. Kakve su to pičke engleske. Oni misle mi smo im, brate, Španci i Francuzi i ovi Šiptari i ovi, brate, tamo neki Holanđani. Majko moja. Strašno.
Yeah, they definitely can. I sense a lot of anger from them in that last game. The way they were playing W-keying throughout the early to mid game. I think they wanted a bit of revenge. I think game number 3, it was a bit of an unfortunate situation. It was Maris and Sangil that ended up getting that forecast tower that they like to try and W-key for in the end. So it was like, right, we want to try and avoid that happening. We want to try and get those eliminations nice and early on. And we saw, I think it was an 8 elimination game right there from those guys. So a duo that are on fire. And as you mentioned, it's just about trying to see if they can continue to have more consistency.
Au, Vuče, si vidio ti to, brate?
Allow that pressure to maybe make them better rather than make them worse.
I wonder if we can
Još sat i nešto, a?
I'm curious to see where Marine is after
Ajmo naši!
particular game. It seems
Merstaš i Mali Buća prvi, iDrop Tris drugi, Merain Kite treći,
I feel like I haven't sort of seen
Trulex spao na 6. mjesto. Ja već nervozan, ja. Skinula džemper, Miki obukla istu košulju, brate, ko prošli put. Koji nam je tim, brate? Čekaj da vidim tim.
As of right now. Decent start to the day, not so good second half of the day for this duo, but of course they're two very experienced players. Of course, Marine played on the biggest stages, has struggled to find teammates here and there. I found as well he hasn't quite been able to have that duo that he wants to stick with. So for this duo, maybe this is their winning formula when it comes to partnerships.
Hey, look, talk about, moving on to better things. Marine and Cade. Cade bossing it with Marine and FNCS. Diok stuck playing with Archie. It's just...
Vuče, nemam, brate.
Two duos, two players can veer off from each other is
Vuče, iskreno nemam.
Happy for those two, for sure.
Happy for Archie that you managed to get a reference in, Levin. Are we going to be seeing him in the qualifiers next week?
It's funny because Archie did actually tweet saying maybe I should have paid Cade to play instead of paying Diok to play with me. So he's already having second doubts about his duo.
Ma, jaki su mnogo, Vuče.
I
Mnogo
believe
su
in
jaki,
Archie.
brate.
He often manages to make miracles happen. We get to see him competing at big events. So fingers crossed for him and his new duo, Diox. Now, we've got 2 more games left tonight. Boys, do you think we're going to see yet another different duo get a victory royale? Do you think one of the names that we've already seen succeed is going to rise to the top again? Mini Minor.
And it's been very chaotic today. I think after the first 3 games...
Polako, samo ne smemo da uđemo nervozno. To duže bude trajalo i ne primimo go, oni će da budu nervozni, to veća šansa za nas. Je znaš, brate moj.
Leon, quickly. Yeah, copy your pasta. That's what we love to see on FNCS, and we love to see our fabulous casters all the way over in the USA. It is Takata and Jacob PR.
Thanks, Frankie. That's a great strategy. I think we should do that more, Jacob. You'll make a call. I'll just copy paste it. Good to go. On a real note, though, it's crazy to see Merstash and Malibuka first place with basically 2 matches played, right? Like, they went down off spawn in 2 matches. They made it to the end game in 2 matches. The 2 matches, they make it to the end game. Second place. That's unbelievable if they can make it off spawn.
Ovo ne smem, na YouTube-u sam, brate. Ne smem, ovo na YouTube-u se čuje, brate, neko će me prijaviti.
When they made it off spawn, they were a true contender for that FNCS championship. Unfortunately enough, being contested means you're hard to find that consistency overall, especially when you're going against the major 2 champions and Aqua and Noah Riley. Will that continue? Game 5 is ready, so let's get it.
Tako je, Vuče, idemo u novi game, ljudi, game broj 5. Spremamo se lagano i za Srbiju.
Contesting each other, the top duos.
Biće zajebano. Jeli Slovenija, Danska, gotovo 1-1, jeli? To i nije loše za nas, šta znam, brate. A možda i nije, možda jeste. Evo su svi. Vanja Kima.
Vanjak getting the
Drkaš
first
me.
one against Aqua. He's just trying to bash him off the
Drkaš
side.
me, brate moj, šta je Aqua uradio? Levo, desno, levo, desno.
Vanjak already
Drkaš
fighting
me, ubi ga.
every team so far and getting that first knock onto Malibuka. Quickly cleaning that one up for the Siphon Mats. No, there's more enemies nearby, and that's
Vanjak
why he's
25
trying
health.
to get revenge for his teammate. How long can Vanjak
Da, ovdje
hold it?
triple con, brate, u red line-u.
Instantly gonna be answered just long enough for
Triple
Staxxgt
con.
to just go up and over.
Aqua i Norelli se pridružili.
Be careful though, Swizzy, I believe, was close by as well. Does he know that Merstash is still there? Forced to drop down with that ramp. The pressure has been applied. Swizzy has regrouped with
Gotovo,
Vanjak as well,
gotovo.
so it is the 2 versus 1. It looks like they're gonna
Vanjak i Svizi ubili Merstaša i Malog Buću, koji su prvi na tabeli.
The number 1 duo of today gets knocked out.
A
Meanwhile, Vanjak
Aqua i
and
Noah su
Swizzy
već pobegli, brate. Oni samo dođu i pobegnu.
to try and find
Si vidio kako čovek izbjegava metkove, brate.
Everybody else almost all day long.
Si vidio šta radi, majke
Like less
ti.
than 10 points, about 10 points every single game.
Sangil Di Marius dead.
Yet again,
Sangil Di Marius dead ponovo.
teams here, Noah and Aqua didn't really back off. They just went towards that side that's a little bit more elevated, got some loot, and now they're trying to backtrack and steal away the boss before Vanjak and Swizzy can return fully healed.
That's the hope. But it looks like it's going to be kind of a time game here, as it will take a little bit for that engagement to come through, if it even ends up happening. We saw in the last match as well, there was quite a few duos that kind of showed up later around red line that drop in the surrounding area.
Vanjak, brate, dole, low, sačuvaj Bože.
But Swizzy and Vanjak really are not in a great position here.
No, definitely not, especially since they can't really find HP. There's no med kits. There's no bandages anywhere around just yet. So it's really going to come down to this Swizzy using the majority of this Flowberry Fizz to try to get Vanjak as healthy as possible. Because they know a fight is around any one of these corners, because they know that they hear Aqua and Noah right above them. Just got to be careful. You see them just peeking around, checking every corner, trying to hide as much of the audio as possible. And then kind of simultaneously farm up as Swizzy finds a med kit. Blessing in disguise for Vanjak, but he quickly went on over to the cactus. And it does look like this one might end up disengaging between these two teams, especially if Noah and Aqua want to continue to maintain their position elevated up so they can continue to get Surge.
Yeah, I don't think a lot's going to go on in the near future there, so let's take a look by Classy Courts. Cade Marine, then he was talking about it, a bit of Welsh representation from Cade. Hopefully, though, Marine doesn't get a sneaky play here onto his duo partner. As there it is, Cade Marine now forced into the action. Ball replaced coming through. No nitro, though, so more of a normal engagement here that we're not so used to in this current meta.
He immediately took damage and not wasting time with the shield fish to try to get that HP and shield back on up. Nice shots, continuing the aggression. You said it yourself, no nitro splash had made this just a little bit more of a regular fight, which is like a blessing in disguise, because we know Cade would have just immediately nitroed into the box.
Ubi ga
Opponent
napokon,
has
brat.
those nitros, but is unable to use them to escape.
Napokon ga ubi, brate.
Looking at where's Ares at? Because Marine doesn't get the elimination. He must have disengaged somewhere.
Must have. But I'm also trying to look.
Završilo 1-1. Pa i odgovara nam i ne odgovara nam. Možda bi bilo bolje da jedan tim bude zakovan za dno, a da to ne budemo mi, brate. Da jedan tim bude sa 0 bodova. Vidiš, sad svako po bod, brate.
Looks like this might just be a
Jebik.
repeat of their strategy. Get those elims,
Šta znam?
play bunker, go from there.
This is a team it's kind of have so many high hopes for.
Pa, trebalo bi bude
Especially
okej.
with how they've been playing throughout the open portion of this FNCS. I want to see them try to get back on track, even though it might be a little hard for them to get first place without back-to-back top finishing games. But I want to see them kind of make at least a dash for the top side of that leaderboard. Kind of show what they got, build that momentum before we go into week 2.
Building momentum is key. But what's even more key is adaptation. And it's what these players have had to do in this season. From having the nitro fists to no longer having the nitro fists and switching over to the nitro splashes. The environmental mobility from the nitro portals. The storm surge strats from the cactuses. So much changes, and being able to adapt quicker than your opponents is what can give you that gap, that upper hand on everyone else in the lobby. Take a look at Turtle here and his duo partner in a box fight. They performed very well in the last match. Second place finish. But they're gonna need these eliminations if they want to make it there again.
This fight started and it looked like Chex was just trying to break into the box with Nitro, but it might have ran out at the last second.
Slovenci bili bolji, a? Nem pojma ja. Nisam gledao.
Turtle and Chiefs, and they're ready to break into the box. Dashes him on outward, gets the knock along with it, and everything comes crashing down momentarily, and that's going to be a free elimination and a 2v1 if they want to continue on it. But somebody sneaks in. Turtle gets dropped to 43 HP, forced to kind of wander around and reposition himself with Chiefs going down. That's a whole third-party team, Cringe and Volko, that has come in to disrupt this fight and take everything for themselves.
Now the focus is make use of that river of sticks, get back to zone. They've already claimed these eliminations. They've gotten the loot they wanted to.
Dobro, dobro, Vladimire, dobro.
Getting right back in. 1 minute, 20 seconds to do so. You know this duo's feeling happy now.
Good shots right there. Voltiax looked like he was at a tough spot on the side of the mountain. Quickly builds up, elevates himself, creates some separation, which is important, especially with the nitro splashes. That's truly fine.
Desi, deki.
Pulls down low by himself, but only for so long before Voltiax returns. But another third.
Ako naši pobede Englezi?
Voltiax might have heard.
To je pitanje.
Quickly trying to build and create himself space to work with.
On Voltiax, gotta make something happen here.
Došao si s mora, bravo, brate.
As the pressure continues. You gotta be careful.
Bili ti genosirovčo, idemo bre.
Around you, not only in the engagement, but also for the potential third or fourth party. It's not even worth it to fully commit a lot of the time, let alone use materials just to stay up here. And you can see the quick decisions that are made from these players. You can see the experience. They've been through this before. They know when to disengage and when to keep on fighting.
Kind of Voltiax there. When that third party crashed down, Voltiax is the one creating separation and making it look dangerous, but Vico crashes through all those builds and brings everybody down to his lair, knowing that the only real defense is to change the elevations, and they're quickly answering that plan. Another nitro splash being popped. Flixie taking a few seconds here. Get that cola and get his shields back on up. There's still a bunker there towards the outside that they could fight for, because you see another solo going for it, but as that player is going to disengage, Vico, Flixie, they don't want to go on the chase, so they're going to let Marine live to tell the tale, but that bunker is now their next focus.
Bunker's going to be huge, but also can be what causes players to get eliminated when they get overconfident trying to get one. Teeny and Chap, just like Marius and Sanguild, have looked for non-stop action throughout the mid-games of these matches. We know how much they love to play aggressively. But it looks like right as I say that, they might be choosing to disengage to a bunker here.
Just kind of get
more than a fair play.
Yeah, with a little bit extra that they can. Kind of go in, loot the bunker. They already had control of it. So if anybody else kind of ran up in this direction, they would have had...
Pozdrav, Johnny! Loš mi pozdrav, ljudi, mi se nadamo, brate. Evo ja gledam sad ovamo na drugom monitoru. Šta se dešava? Englezi hteli da uđu u voz gde su srpski navijači, voz koji vozi kao metro, koji vozi do stadiona. Hteli da uđu, policija ih zaustavila, brate. Pun voz srpskih navijača. Evo sad gledam.
Knocking on his door. Is he going to have time? It was metal, though, so he did not break the build with the initial nitro splash. It does 300 damage when you charge against the wall. So those metal structures that are at 500 have 200 more HP from the initial knock. As now the 1v1 breaks through the battle to see who's going to bring their duo back in the game.
Yeah, Marine knows that It's only so long you can stay in this position before you have to start using those med kits simply to stay alive and keep this fight prolonged. But Game Noya just disengaging as well. Doesn't know how safe it is. Didn't get the memo that they disengaged on the outside. So both of those players kind of have to wait just a little bit longer before they get that first attempt on their teammates back into the game.
Neither duos or players wanted to take the risk. Oh, look at this, Jacob.
Da, Slovenci uzeli bot,
Play
brat.
coming through against Noah and Aqua here, but it's a solo, so it's gonna be difficult.
I was gonna say I don't see Akira anywhere in sight. Might not even going for the elimination. Yeah, exactly. The scraps that are left by, and this is those plays you don't always. Oh, I was gonna say you don't always have to be tagging somebody up immediately. When there's enough distance between him and them, he feels confident enough to fire those shots, but immediately gets beamed. And they know he's back there. They know they already got most of the important loot out of that bunker. So for them, if they get zoned on this side of the map, it's just a waiting game for the solo to come out of the storm weak.
I was gonna say there's pros and cons of the shots that this solo just took. One of them is if they decide to wait at the edge of zone, he's gonna have a very difficult rotate trying to get back in. On the other hand, at least he got a bit of damage, so it's gonna help for Storm Surge, but it's difficult overall. For 9, took out Ju. Nice little quick finish. Chicho Trulex, once again,
Evo su.
based up with their surge base that they like to do. They're relaxed.
Šeško je mnogo dobar, brate. Ja Šeška znam već 2 godine, brate, i znam da je ludilo, brate. I znam da je ludilo, Šeško je, brate. Taj će dode verovatno negde u Englesku ili negde, brate. Baš je dobar.
Multiple options here. They can go for the Rift Island. There's launch pads up there if they want to fight for it, but they're more than likely boxed up on a rift down below. Oh, scared me there for a moment. The Nitro Splash saving the day yet again.
I got a little scared as well, as I'm still getting a bit nervous. 24 HP is what they're gonna make it out with, but for how long? As with that amount of tags, you know the opponents are gonna come hungry, especially seeing it was Vanjak Swizzy.
Vanjak i Swizzy gore. Vik ubio Cringe-a. Vik ubio Volka.
Redline rig to Rift Island. Even Vico's getting a couple eliminations. He was at least able to take down Volko. And now that Rift Island is kind of taken overall, you see that first team up there, they were just too weak. If they were to try to hold this position, we know
Teni čep su tu. Nerajni Kaid ovde, rebootan Kaid.
They had no choice but to give it up, disengage, and kind of keep themselves alive, because that's what you need with 34 players. At least 9 teams need to go down before you even get a singular placement point.
Once again, a lot of the duos in the top 5 have went down. Merstash Malabuka, iDrop Chris, Mabs Kiduo, all eliminated now in the top 5, but hey, at least we got Marion and Cade back in business, back in the game. They had a little struggle there in Classy Courts off the start, but the reboot has come through. They're gonna Flowberry Launchpad here, and then hopefully make their way into zone.
I like this overhead look on the map, kind of seeing where everybody's kind of scattered, spread out just a little bit. A long journey for Marion to trying to get back into the zone, but it's at least a chance that they're going to have to work with. Dylan F9 just trying to move through, not take too many big risks. They know how volatile it can be this low to the ground, especially with the Nitro Splashes in the game.
Sad će Teni 3 skillovi, nema pojma. Nema pojma, ne idem, brate.
A lot of these drop spots, people have routes for Storm Surge, they got routes for how to loot efficiently, and even routes for where to farm up their metal, because it's so important to have as much as possible.
Kićo, desi, Kićo.
They've got a different idea on how they can get that metal. It's through eliminations, but you gotta be careful with all the walls breaking, opponents charging right into you. You have to be careful, as the Flowberry Fizz is going to be popped, recuperating both players' shield here. Are they going to continue with the engagement, though? You see the zone has pulled further east, so the smart play might just be to keep rotating.
Yeah, that was almost a blessing in disguise.
Šta je s Gulijem vuče?
Knocked back into safety. It wasn't ultimately in zone. Ryan was easily able to kind of reunite
Tako je, Kićo, da tako da se kurčiš nego kako. Ogiša, ti si živ i dalje, brate. Nisi se udavio u moru negdje. Splitali ste se. Dobro, dobro, super. Blago vam. Jedva si preživao. Pa pretpostavljam ili ide negdje na more ili ima maturu, brat. Pretpostavljam, brat. Tako je, Kićo, da im jebeš svima majku, šta oni tebe drkaju? Odmah ih napušiš kurčićem, brat. Ma mora da ide, brate, zamisli u životu se ne setiš svoje mature zato što si morao da igraš Fortnite, brate. Tak. Tako je, Kićo. Glupo je, jebeš jedan kap bilo kakav da je. Brate, matura se pamti za ceo život.
But luckily enough now, there is some potential, and I believe there's even more duos taking shots at Nathan and CZB as they've been almost cracked. Unless that was just Cade from the backside.
They just really split, taking two different rotations in. You take that side of the mountain, I'll take this side. Hopefully CZB and Nathan don't spot us out, but I do think they have some sort of information that somebody is floating around here. You see Nathan ready to edit that floor. And if they pop a nitro splash, we know exactly what they're going to do. They're going to try to bull rush into that opponent's box, knowing that he's a solo.
And that's exactly what's coming here from Chapatini.
Čapiteni, 4 kila. Upravo su ubili Voxa. Ogišalj, ti znaš šta je nitro splash, brat?
There is different elevations around them, so they do have to be careful, and that's why you see them kind of putting a top on their box. With a lot of teams rotating in this direction, some of them will try to get...
Vidio si na Twitteru, to je lepo, brate. To je lepo, ako si vidio na Twitteru. Bravo, dobro si vidio, Ogiša. Ja posumljao, ja slučajno posumljao da nisi ušao u Fortnite da update-aš, pa da vidiš, brate, i ti uživo to u gejmu da odigraš. Ali vidim da nisi. Ma i to što kažeš, brate, lakše na Twitteru nema update, brate. Tačno, tačno se ne zamaraš.
Yeah, usually they're ahead of the curve when it comes to Storm Surge, but because they were forced to reboot each other back up, they weren't able to be as proactive as they were in some of these other games, and now they're falling further and further below.
Keko, pozdrav.
For now, it's manageable. They just need to get...
Neću, John, idem da gledam sa mojom decom na televizoru, brat.
Cade gets dropped. Marine is going to be stuck by himself. That's Toos and Carmi on the other side that find that elimination. Good thing for Marine, though. He was able to fire back a couple of shots briefly for a moment, goes above the threshold, but instantly falls right back down. He's trying to get that piece control, but with damage, two players on the other side and Storm Surge, the odds were certainly stacked against him.
No damage, no teammate, no way to make it out of that situation. Carmi and his duo with 4 elims on the board, now forced to rotate southwest of the map here. I mean, it's looking quite open in a sense, but I wonder where Swizzy went. Oh no. Oh.
Mile, jel vreme za cen ledu cen niko? Nije niko, nije, brate. Što su se Guli i Wolf splitali? Ma nešto, Wolf jeo govna, brate. Da je Srbija bolja, Guli kaže, Hrvatska bolja u fudbalu. I posvađali su pičku, matru. Budale, bre, budale, pusti. Pobili se, brate.
He's got a bit of time though, to be fair. For being a solo, the amount of damage above the Storm Surge threshold is quite good, so...
Pobili se, brate, na Boga, Guli, ovaj ga puko flašom u glavu. Ćuti, show živ. Eto, i jede mu govno, ceo kup, kaže Guli.
Trying to hold on to that fifth place spot. 152 below. And we need a couple players to go down before Storm surges off, but we just need one team, and there it goes. Oliver goes down. His duo was already out. At least placement points are now starting to tick in. So he's at least getting something for his efforts here. And the longer he stays, the better off he's gonna
183
be.
below.
Reverse is down low. This might be his only chance. Nitro splash coming.
Loše ste pripremili, Niko, loše ste pripremili. Šteta, brate. Trebali ste prvo da se posavetujete sa mnom. Šta bi sad? Goločevac donira $3 i sad šta piše ovdje, ne znam. Čekaj, moram da mu refundam, jebem mu, sve mu jebem. Dok on je meni bloko PayPal, bolje je njemu da vratim ove pare za lekove, brate. Nešto je napisao, nisam vidio malo. Smanjeno mi, pošto gledam ovamo. Da mu ja vratim ovo, brate. Refund this payment. Već sam mu vratio, on opet, brate, jede govno. Issue refund, evo ga. Goločevac, evo javno da vide ljudi, $3 vraćeno tebi. Da znaju ljudi da je live, brate, ovo i tako. Izvolite tvoje pare nazad i opet ti kažem da Bog da ti trebalo za lekove, brate. Nemoj meni da daješ. Zdravo, Kociću! Bolje ja tebi, brate, vratim nego ti meni tamo da reportaš PayPalu. Da sam ti nešto dužan ili ovo ili ono ili tako. Evo ga opet. Da je sad ne iskače na ekran. 5 donira i nešto piše, ko zna šta piše. Nešto piše, opet moram da mu vratim. Kako mogu da ga blokam, brate, da ne može da donira? And 6 eliminations on top of that, so Storm Surge certainly not going to be a worry. And with his own pulling forward, it's going to be a mountain ridge on the other side that they might be able to connect to try to maintain their position on the high ground. It's just all a matter if anybody can look up and chop it down before that becomes. Evo, brate, da vide ljudi, vratio sam ti 5 komada, da Bog da ti za lekove trebalo.
All that's left is to do it. You can see Trulex and Chicho as well. Interesting rotate on the uncongested side of the moving zone here. Meanwhile, Artist and his duo seem to be split up, but it looks like they have regrouped. Kind of taking a little pause here to look around, gauge the situation. Do they want to keep rotating? Do they want to take some shots?
Ovo je Fire Hunter, top 15 ljudi, top 15. Ništa nisam pratio zbog ovog Goločevca i zbog Srbije u fudbalu, brate. Ništa, gledam ovamo da li se biju naši s Englezima ili se ne biju. Pratim Twitter, pratim Nemački, opet ovaj. Ne mogu ni da odgledam endgame. Donira 1 i nešto opet jede govna, ko zna šta piše. Ne znam, ne mogu da pročitam, malo je. Smanjeno mi je.
And his duo gotta be careful, no mats to work with, gets knocked down. CZB Nathan gotta be the one securing the loot.
Izvolite pare nazad, evo ga.
Nathan and CZB turn around, do they know there's a solo behind them in their tarp? Not for long. As the pressure continues, Nathan and
Što mu refundaš? Da Bog da mu za lekove trebalo, što i ne, znaš. Biju nas i Englezi šiptuju, kako da ne biju, biju nas sigurno. Vidim sve beženi iz ulicu, bato, sigurno nas biju. Nagledao sam se sad 20 videa, brate, nigde batine nismo dobili. Jedino policija što uhapsila onog jednog našeg sad ispred stadiona. Za malo da im pobegne, brate, za malo. Kako bežne kozečevi. Teni, brate, 10 kilova, ej! Teni čap 10 kilova. Opet ovaj, jebem ti, pustimo gledam game. Ko zna šta piše, ne vidim. Top 5, ništa nisam ispratio, ni Trulexa, ni Čića, ni Hrisa, ni nikoga. Artist dead, gold, eno ga Trulex živ! Trulek živ, ej! Firehunter živ, hila, zamisli ima kukuruz, brat. Sad ću goločevac da ti vratim. Trulek živ! Teni protiv Trulek, pa ovo ne mogu da izgube, brat. Ovo ne mogu da izgube, brat. Trulek drugi, Čapi Teni vinali, brat. Dobre, odgledao sam, sad ću da mu refundam. Koliko će da bude Srbija Engleska? Pa pobedit će Englezi jedno 3-0, ja mislim. Donirao si 3, evo ti 3 nazad. Evo ti 3 nazad. They figured out a way to make magic in the next game with 8, and then they struggled again. 37th, 21st. They were going for high elimination games, and it hadn't worked out for them until now. They finally put all the pieces to that puzzle together. They not only get a huge victory, but they get a double-digit elimination victory on top of that.
That's the best way to do it as well, and the good news is they don't have as much trouble as some of the other duos in the top of the leaderboard in the initial start of the match. Their drop spot, so hopefully now with one more opportunity to close out the day, they can get another big match, and that could launch them up to the top of the leaderboard if they're not there already.
Yep, but we're going to figure that out soon because we're going to go to a quick break, and we're going to see how the leaderboard shakes out after 5 games.
Ima još jedan game. A sad idemo da vidimo leaderboard. Nego tražim tuče, gledam, brate. Idemo da vidimo leaderboard posle 5 gameova. Aha, vidi ko je prvi. Vidi ko je prvi. Opa. Odi. Vidi ko je prvi. Jel može na Discord da mi se role CN grind, još ušao sam u grind, imam slika, postao sam grind team. Evo odmah. Evo dok vi gledate tabelu, opet ovaj nešto, ko zna ko je, brate. Opet nešto piše, ko zna šta je, brate. Opet me jebe, moram da idem na paper. Gledaj što mi skida 40 centi. Transakcija iz dolara u euro, brate. Upravo mi PayPal skinuo 40 centi. Transakcija iz dolara u euro, brate. Jebem li ti lebac, al kradovi iz PayPala. A ovaj me još jebe da mi skidaju pare, brate. Ovoliko si donirao, evo ti nazad. I nosi u pizdu maternu. Znači grind team, da vidimo grind team, ima samo neki Petar, brate, sad ćemo da vidimo. Pozdrav Čimi, ti si Petara. Evo ti rola za CN grind. To ti je to, ajmo sad tu, ajmo sad tu, ček, Adrija, neke poruke. Dobro. Da. Lepo, Niko, došli, šalje mi gole pičke. Lepo, Niko, lepo, brate. To vuče, to brate. Niko mi poslo gole pičke. Trulex prvi, Čićo, Firehunter drugi, Čapiteni došli na 3. mesto. Čapiteni sa 20 i nekog mesta, skok na 3. Merstaš i Mali Buća umrli na lendu i sa 1. mesta pali na 4. Voltex School 5, Chris je pao na 6. Merain Kite 7. Svizi Vanjak 10. Oni se sve vrte oko 10. mesta. Nepskido 11. Sangild Marius 14. Asa Jup 13. CZB Neitan 15. Cringe Volko 18. Viko Flixi, kao što sam rekao Meletu na početku. Od Vika Leba nema, evo su 20. Pozdrav Laco! Kako ide cenu? Ide odlično, brate. Delaf Najen 24. Janis Pixi 28. Tus je 26. Mapikiro 38. Noareli Aqua Katastrofa 37. Skajduni Vox i T-Chips i Artskill među zadnjima. Trulex i Čićo, Ponos Balkana prvi. Ima još jedan game. I to je to. To je to, brate. Odlično. Da vidimo ovi šta kažu. Nešto jedu govna. Da vidimo šta kažu.
This is just a highlight. This is just a showcase of what they can do when it comes to their fragging ability and their ability to play endgame 11, because this is a duo we have to talk about when it comes to the grand finals, I'm sure, as well.
Absolutely, man. I mean, you pretty much hit on everything there, Mini, but I'm really grateful for Teeny and chat on many levels. I mean, you look as a whole, and when we're talking about the theme of, some of the big names that left the EU.
Nemci biju Engleze na ulicama. Nemci biju Engleze na ulicama, brate. Nemci na polju, a Englezi unutra u verovatno ovo je voz. I Nemci na polju, brate. Nemci biju Engleze, brate. U Gelsenkirchenu, brate. Lepo, brate, lepo.
Yeah, absolutely, right? You mentioned earlier they had a bit, of a low elimination style, and I sort of said instantly, a lot of the time that's indicative of a team that actually has a very good game plan, right? They don't often need refresh.
Jebi ga, jednog našeg uhapsili, brate. Jednog našeg uhapsili na stadionu, evo snimci. Ispred stadiona.
We saw this in a lot of those games, right, where we see them sort of getting into spots where when they do run out of mats or they're not in the best spot, they'll just play their medkits and just sort of out heal and farm placement out of everybody else in the lobby. So really nice stuff here from Trulex and Chicho today.
Yeah, and the reason why they can do that is because they know that the next couple of games they're going to have are also going to be solid end games as well. They don't necessarily need those massive performances like we've seen from Mustache and Malibuke and like we've seen from Chapantini to keep them up there on the leaderboard. Their game at the moment, their game traditionally as well, has been consistency and ensuring they make every single one of those end games. Today hasn't been quite the absolute pristine showcase of that, but what we've seen when they have made it to the end game has been...
Ne smem da pokažem, deki. Ne smem jer mogu da dobijem ban, brate, sa YouTube-a, a boga mi i sa Twitch. Šta smem da pokažem gdje nema ništa strašno, smem, šta ne smem, ne smem. Ne sme da ima gdje pištolj, ne sme da ima ovo, gdje ono, a panduri svi nose pištolje. Neka pravila Twitcha imaju, brate.
To get into a box when it comes to the nitro, it can cause another team to do the exact same thing to you as well. That's exactly what happened to this duo. They didn't even use nitro actually to get inside of the box. They just tried to pickaxe their way in, but it was another team that came round and decided to get inside of their box. Overall, though, I'm not too you concerned? Maybe this is my new Volko and Vortex's team, a team that I'm going to be keeping a close eye on throughout this season. Maybe, you know, I kind of have to because Volko and Vortexes have split, which is, you know, many tears have been shed from that. But yeah, I want to see some Welsh representation in Grand. So I'm cheering these guys on. Let's say that for now.
Yeah.
As long as you're there, Mini Miner, I'll be really happy. I'm sorry to interrupt you there, Levin, but I was just wondering if we've got time to talk about Noah and Aqua, because...
Of course! Oh, Nesko, Serbia, Poljska, kurva mat! Hi, my name is Max. So, you're wearing...
Zdravo, Skoja!
My native country is from Poland. My grandfather came from Poland to Germany 80 years ago. What brings you to the Serbian fan zone? I live 2 blocks from here. Okay, so you will cheer for us? Of course. Oh, Nesko, Serbia, Poljska, kurva mat! Kurva mat!
Naši prave haos, brate, tamo.
We're not just gonna sit here and watch Redline Rig, you know, pop off today. There was actually a bit of, you know, beef between all those guys, sort of, you know, Aqua and Riley sort of decided to not land there.
Ludnica, brate, u Gelsenkirchenu.
And so Malabuka and Sasha like, hey, you scared of us or what? You know, what's going on? And I think they showed here in this game, they aren't scared. They can come in and cause a problem if you let them.
It's nice
You
to
don't
see.
slide kick someone if you're afraid. Mini Miner, you're appreciating the martial arts, are you?
I'm appreciating the martial arts. I'm appreciating the bravery. I'm appreciating the bravery to contest.
Show živi, Čiči Trulex, prvi zadnji game!
In this lobby, so I think that's what we like to see. I did see as well the official competitive Twitter put out a tweet and they said, "Who will stay alive? Who's going to win off spawn?" They only put Mustache, Malabuka, and Vanyak and Swizzy. They didn't think that there could potentially be a third party coming in there. But I mean, I want to see what happens next.
We're all learning lessons. I'm so sorry to interrupt you, boys, but we have to get back on board the battle bus because it's time for game number 6.
Idemo, zadnji game.
Don't worry, Mini, we got you. We are going to figure out what happens next in this final game. Are we staying triple contested? Are the major 1 and 2 champs still going to go at it head-to-head with Aqua and Noah, really trying to put themselves in the conversation? You got to think, none of these teams will really back down. They will take it to the very end, and that's what we've been seeing.
Boga mi ima s ovim gameima da zakasnimo na Srbiju, ej!
And he made a good point too. If you're gonna contest any duo in the whole lobby, you pick the 2 duos that already qualified to global championships. It's an interesting take, but the battle bus is ready. We'll see how it plays out in this last match.
You know what they always say, if you want
Ma
to
dobre.
be the best, you have to
Pa gledaj,
be
brate,
the best, and that's a
dobro,
challenge.
ima vremena, brate,
You know,
ima.
everybody will be
Imam
up for
sigurno
taking
bar
Aqua
5
and
minuta
Noah.
do utakmice kad
Definitely up for a
ugasi.
challenge just like that, and you
Plaune,
just see
pozdrav ponovo.
multiple people yet again
Kako ide
for the
našima,
Redline Rig.
Trulex i Čičo su prvi.
This is gonna be one of those
Zadnji
fights
game
that's
je.
all about the drop, those floor spawns on top of the actual rig, and Noah Riley's actually able to get one of them.
Banyak choosing to go on the outer side here.
Oh,
Maybe
ode
take
Noah,
shots from
ode
afar.
Noah,
Malabuka
ode Noah,
initial
a ode i
take
Aqua,
out
boga
Noah.
mi.
Aqua as well. Looks like he's gonna
Boga
fall
mi
for
će
the
da ode i
upper.
Aqua.
Be careful, Malabuka. Lost the
Au.
break, falling down, but 2 elims to start it off.
Odoše,
Got the better positioning on the
lagano.
top compared to Vanyak Swizzy, so now they'll
Ne
have
može se
more
popne.
loot. They'll have
Ne
more
može se
shields.
popne.
They'll have the potential of getting that NPC quicker. And it's going to be a battle against Banyak and Swizzy if they don't end up getting them already. But it looks like Swizzy might get knocked down here. How many builds?
Swizzy
will he
low.
able to farm up as Merstash
Swizzy low, mnogo low, Swizzy bunkovaj bubble.
That's Malabuka already
Swizzy
on
dead.
the Vanyak created some separation.
Swizzy dead i Vanja kuleće, babababababab. Da, merstaši mali buća ubijaju sve i merstašeri buta malog buća. Da, Teni Vinos 15. vratio se u takmičenje, inače je bio mnogo loš. Bili su 20 i neki loši.
because he saw his opponent jump out, he stayed tracking him, stayed calm, stayed cool, collected, and right when he went out of the shield bubble, finished it off with a couple shots just like Kiduo and Nebs.
Tu si Karmi ubijaju Kidova, jel tako? Dobro, Sky, dobro, hoću, brate, hoću.
Just once again, end the fight pretty quick. Give themselves a lot of space to work with. Like I said, the only real thing that isn't there is that metal. So eventually they'll have to venture out and figure out where they're going to get that from. Uh-oh. This was uncontested at one point.
It was. As then no longer his NPC opens up the door. They're like, oh, wait a minute. Okay, just an NPC. We're good. False alarm. False alarm. We'll start making some noise now. Keep on farming up.
I see Akira and YZY just going down in the feed. They were playing so well, pretty consistent. I believe up until the last couple of games.
Playa, pozdrav, brate.
Was uncontested. They know at least one team is there. That's Glubshi and Vortex. They just don't know exactly where they're at. They were below them at one point or another, but now they've went to try to get as much loot as possible, which I think might be an inevitable fight for this medallion, for the mythic combat shotgun as well.
Clock keeps ticking.
Jesi vidio posto u Srbiji? Nisam, brate, evo tražim, nemam gde da vidim, brate. Čekaj bre, mora da ima na rezultatima sad. Čekaj, rezultati. Mora da ima već na rezultatima. Nema. Evo su postave, dobre. Mitrović, Vlahović, 2 špica, idemo! Mitro is on fire! Mitrović, Vlahović, Kostić, Lukić, Gudelj. Dobro. Gudelj će da igra povučeno. Živković, Milenković, Savić, dobro. Lukić u sredini, Kostić, Palović, VV, dobro. Dobar. I Rajković na golu, ej! Rajko na golu, ej! Rajko na golu, brate! To je to. Nema Tadića, vidim da nema Tadića, brate. Možda je bolje što ga nema na početku. Zato što Gudelj igra povučeno, brate. Možda je bolje. Rajko odličan, brate. Dobre, nema Tadića zato što igramo sa 2 špica i nema mesta i bitnije da igra Gudelj nego Tadić je. Gudelj može da pomogne Veljkoviću, Milenkoviću i Pavloviću. Dobro je ovo, dobro, ovo mi se sviđa. Prvi put da mi se postava sviđa, brate. Ovo mi se sviđa. Kaže Playa, mogo je Petrović na gol. Pa mogo je, brate, i Lavjašin, brate. Petrović. Ne, Džoksi, ne mogu da gledam tek. Ne mogu da gledam. Izgleda da ne igramo sa 4 štopera, izgleda da igramo sa 3 štopera i Gudeljem kao zadnjim veznim ispred njih. Izgleda da igramo tako. 3 štopera i Gudelj zadnji vezni ispred njih. Obećao sam deci da ćemo da gledamo zajedno na TV-u. Da, sva četvorica su štoperi po poziciji. Pa gledaj, Gudelj baš, on sad igra štopera zadnjih godinu dana. Gudelj nikad nije bio štoper, brate. Razumeš? Gudelj, brate moj, je uvek bio zadnji vezni. Uvek. On je sad štoper tamo u Sevilji, brate. Možda zato što mora. Ode me Rajn. Spori smo mi zove, hvala baš. Onaj Saka, onaj Foden ko navijeni, brate. Ajde, Kane i Bellingham, oni nisu brzi. Ali onaj Saka i Foden, onaj Alexander Arnold. Oni bre ko metak jebot.
That was scary for Cade, though. He was also just one shotgun shot away from getting eliminated, so he played that confidently, and it ended up working out, but it was a bit scary. Teeny Chap now in the third place spot.
Da, sve zavisi od Kostića i Živkovića. Kakvi će ubačaji biti sa strane, kakvi će centar šutevi biti, i tako dalje, i tako dalje. Zavisi puno od Kostića i od Živkovića, puno zavisi. Zavisi isto od Milenković Savića, da li će da davi loptu na sredini ili će brzo da se oslobađa. To isto zavisi. Da pogode Mitrović u glavu, to je gol. Odbrana Engleske ne može se bori s Mitrovićem. Mitrović je bio kralj u Engleskoj godinama, brate. Mitrović je harao Engleskom godinama, brate. On ih zna u prste. On ih zna u prste, stvarno, brate. Ali vidjet ćemo, brate. Vidjet ćemo, brate, Englezi su to.
Gotta be careful here. That great combat can only do so much. When you got Cringe getting dropped down now. Not looking for that initial shot though. Both players now chose to back up, disengage into the storm, but Cringe and Volko don't want to let that slide so easily. Odin gets knocked down. Last player up and running now. But that's just the green light for Cringe.
This is terrible for Gold. Open water now. He's trying to build a little island that he can call his own, but Cringe is ready to invade. Not wanting to let Gold in this elimination go easy, but good shots being fired back from Gold, but unfortunately it just wasn't enough. But you see in the minimap, another team hears all this noise. They know Cringe and Volko are in open water, and this is their chance to attack. You see them hot on the heels. They want to try to clean this up, not give them a chance to heal, but Cringe is doing the right thing, creating space, but no ramps means he's easily susceptible to the Nitro Splash Dash as he gets taken down. It's going to be a trade, though, 1-for-1, coming down to a 1v1.
Shex did close it out though, so he is going to be able to pick up his teammate now. Both players sent back to the lobby. The third party was successful. That was quick too. I mean, that's the issue. You have these fights, you end up chasing them in the zone, and even though you come out on top, if you even just get cracked in this current meta, the third party can be incredibly dangerous if both players come in with Nitro. You won't have time to heal. And if you don't hit that initial shot, then it might just be game over. Paris and I drop though, trying to play as consistent as possible. You can see 6th place currently on the leaderboard, but the top 10 has been incredibly close throughout the whole day. It's not like there's a duo.
Ovaj, brate, desi miksa.
The pact here.
Ovaj, brate, kuma nije normalan, ovaj trener Holandije šta je uradio. Zgadilo mi se sad što sam gledao, brate. Nije normalan šta je uradio. Tačno mi se zgadilo sad, brate, šta sam gledao. Top 31 ljudi.
But once you get that opportunity in a finals lobby, almost anything is possible. You even see an example here from Merstash and Malabuka barely scraping through into this round, playing only half of their games out and still find their position in 4th place.
Ovi čilaju ovdje, brate.
Our first place team.
Imaju deševe, ali imaju ped.
Also looking like they want to play.
Imaju deševe, imaju ped.
But they will need more damage.
Čilaju.
Not too many duos in the area though. They have the River of Sticks as well, so they have those dashes that they can conserve whenever they want to use them.
Can we take a moment to just
Mele, loš ti onaj Viko, rekao sam ti ja, brate.
And I'm not even talking about the first place. I would say the same thing if they were in 5th, because these guys have spent less than a minute away from each other in over 2 hours. And yes, I'm hyped. I'm screaming it just a little bit because how ridiculous does that sound? 39 seconds as solos in over 2 hours. It's moves like that that shows that them sticking together, no matter what happened at the Global Championship, missing out on Major 1, that it is time spent together that matters most, and they're really proving it here today.
Chemistry is key, and they're showing you exactly why on their positioning. Vico, Flixi, speaking about chemistry, we talked about it.
Ima naših, pa ima nas dosta u Nemačkoj, brate.
Language here. Vico not forced to speak in English. Has it been working out? I mean, they've been doing pretty well.
As someone like yourself who knows, 2 different languages and probably switches between which duo he's playing with, do you think that kind of helps? Do you think it's more of a learning curve that they have to go through?
It's an interesting question because there are like set calls that, you can make in various languages, but you're always going to be more confident in your native language. And I feel like you'll speak more as well. An issue a lot of players have, especially in team-based modes, is, consistently communicating and giving as many comms as possible. And I feel like if it's not your main language, you'll give the most important comms, but you won't give those side comms. And if you're speaking your native language, you're going to be talking a lot more. You'll be a lot more active. You'll almost be thinking more. So I do think it's definitely more beneficial if you're able to do that. But sometimes, depending on who you want to play with,
Možda playa, možda, vidjet ću, razmišljam se.
If you feel like you have a very good duo. So it's a difficult choice, but we'll have to see if it was the right one that they made.
Ovi živi ovaj game. Sreća njihova.
Pro player here on the broadcast. Experienced as can be, so that's why, you know, I like casting with you, Takata. Anytime I have some struggles, any questions, I know I'm going to get the answer. And I think with some of the struggles some of these teams have faced here today, they've instantly found the answer. A lot of times today we saw Fire Hunter and Artist go down as solos, separated, but it only meant so much because they're still in second place. They're making the moments that they do spend together as a full duo, they're making it all count.
Making every moment count. You can see Rift Island in the distance as well. Trying to just kind of
Skupe su karte. Skupe su karte, stvarno.
A shot or two. With 0 eliminations on the board, you can already tell they're maybe a little bit stressed on how much damage they've done. That's an issue as well. If you end up pulling zone, some of the times you don't get as many duos rotating through. You have to almost position yourself more in the corner if you want to find them. Kind of making their way in zone, so it can lead to you not getting enough damage, but for duos like Cade and Ryan, who are on the corner of the map and also contested at the start of the match, they've had more than enough opportunities to get those tags, to get that damage, where they shouldn't have too much pressure on them.
Especially since a lot of those fights that we have watched are kind of drawn out. They're healing up. That gives more damage for Storm Surge. So definitely playing their cards right. Chapentini, another forecast tower that they are going after. And just trying to really make a comparison, it was earlier in this same tournament, the first couple games, they were going against Marius and Sangeld, who no longer make their presence known on this side of the map because of how well Chapentini are doing. And you can see the replay of them picking up just a couple more eliminations and just kind of conditioning everybody around that forecast tower, saying, hey, if you guys are going to go for it, that is perfectly fine with us, but you better be ready to fight for it.
Merstash Malavuka looking like they're having a bit of fun in this last game here. Good news is they made it off spawn happily. The 2 duos that contested them went down to Merstash's hands. The 4 elims he's got on the board now. Busting out the moves. I like that shot, showing the nitro portals. Also,
you say these pro players aren't the only one working during the off season. I gotta give a huge shout out to the whole observing team, man. You really notice the difference. I try to do these by myself, and I feel like I can't cast and observe. Having a full team like this just makes it flawless, makes it easy. We get replays like this, making sure we don't miss a second of the action. As Vico, Flixie, they're trying to heat up. This is the very last game. They got quite a gap to overcome if they want to reach that first place spot, because that was at 194, started by Trulex and Chicho at the game. But they could definitely reach as close to that as possible, get some series points, start to go ahead and get that practice under your belt and come back stronger for week 2.
Yeah, the comeback would be huge, but you said it yourself, it's going to be difficult, and not only because of that, but also it's the first time today we've had each of the top 5 teams alive so far into the match.
Ooh, interesting.
As we've seen a lot of them getting knocked down earlier on. As Marius looks like he's going to be one of them joining the players in the lobby. His duo partner is still up though. You can see Sangeld not too far away, but
Teni čap 6 kilova već. Nervoza i mene spucala, vuče, gledam na sat. Pišem nešto ovamo, brate, gledam na sat, spucala me nervoza.
6 elims so far, 179. Remember, like I said, to start the game, Trulex and Chicho, if they have no eliminations to this point, it is going to be 194, so only 21 more points for them to overcome. This is Sangeld and Marius. They made that decision to no longer contest that forecast tower, and I think that's a great decision for them to make.
Yo, Mike.
Because they were slowly but surely having a few hiccups, stutter steps to their game plan, and now they at least have a chance to try to pick up the pace.
Voltiax and Cool. Trying to figure out the rotation here. Going through the tunnel. I don't see too many duos directly out of it, but on the edge of the zone, there are quite a few. But Lucy, though, quickly enough, hello, drops right in front of them. Is it a blessing or a curse, though? Because now the focus could be on them from the duos that are already boxed in, but it looks like not too much pressure has been put onto their shoulders, so they should be fine for now.
Yeah, it's for now, because I obviously don't see what Voltiax has in his inventory, but I see no Flowberry Fizz, no Nitro Splashes. It's not the farthest pull here in the lobby, but without the right utility, it's going to feel like a far and a drastic pull, especially with around 4 teams directly in front of you and a couple more waiting inside of the zone to try to gatekeep you out.
I drop Haris once again. Following
Risi, iDrop imaju baš dobru bazu. Ris pogodi ovog 2 put, brate. I kreka ga.
From early game to mid game rotations to how to get damage to how to play the late game. And this is actually the perfect zone for them, as a lot of these duos have to rotate towards them. If they were just inside of the zone on the edge there, it would be ideal, but they don't have to move too far to get in, so they can kind of take their time here.
These bases definitely working out for them. So far in this tournament so far, they have about 3,300 damage throughout 5 games, and you're seeing a lot of
Merster's dead. Merster's dead, brate.
Wait a minute, Malabuka Merstash gets separated. Merstash goes down, and we know they've already claimed the red line rig material, the loot, everything from over on that side of the map. So it's going to be like an interesting decision to see how he's going to be able to stay alive, because it's in the games that they've been able to play that's been so fruitful.
What has went wrong for Merstash and Malabuka in this last match from 4th place now? It could cause them to drop down quite significantly here.
Kako su ga ubili ovdje, jebote.
Beamed Merstash during his rotate.
A su ga izbimali, evo su Trulek i Čić. Chile.
See him by himself, all alone on the side of that mountain. Luckily for him, there's not too much distance to cover. You see him underneath the bridge. There's your boy Trulex and Chicho, 196 points. Just about 8 points shy of that 2nd place Fire Hunter and Artist. And they too have a similar rotation as Malabuka, but they are way better off. They have the Fizz, they have the Nitro Splashes, they have all the utility they need.
Imaju odličan loot.
And if things get tough, they can easily stagger themselves, box themselves up, use the Nitro Splash yet again, and then kind of play it how they want.
Choices are what you want, and that's exactly what they have here. But that zone is quite a difficult one. They might be able to go all the way east and kind of reuse the tarps from what the players are rebuilding.
Bravo, gledaj kakva rotacija sad ide. To je to, brate. To je to. Malo fiza, skakanje u portal i oni već u zoni. Trulex je krekan! Trulex je krekan, baš krekan! Ovo ne valja. Top 26 placementi. Sad će. Even with the eliminations they got in the early game, because it was off spawn, that's not a lot of damage. Chicho umro, jebem ti mater, Meraj! Jebem ti majku! They immediately nitro their way into the box and take him down. Separating him and Trulex, that 39 seconds that they spent as solo. A Trulex bio krekan. But hopefully for Trulex. Oh, brate, mili.
The big question. 158 above. How much longer can he hold on to it? 1 cola in the inventory, 3 medkits. More than enough materials, though. Malabuka also. A lot of solos in this match. Trying to get the... maximize how many points they can pick up, but...
Čap i Teni fajtaju low su. Mislim, Čap je low. Mali Buća gotov, 33 healtha. Nema white heala i dead.
Away from Malabuka momentarily, but in comes CZB and Nathan trying to go unnoticed underneath that mountainside, and they found themselves a nice elimination. More for placement, combined both his wrist and eye drop. 479 above the damage threshold, and you can see they're one of the teams that have lost the top 5, and with 2 of those players and teams going down, this is a great chance to pick up the points. Spangod's on the other side. That's even more eliminations, but Riz quickly reacts to the team, trying to bulldoze their way in through the outside of their cover. These quick reactions coming out of Haris and iDrop are not only able to net them those eliminations, but they're able to get the loot for it as well.
So much leftover loot now, too. They have so many options on how they want to make it the zone here. And that's going to be crucial, but you got to be careful as Sandguild, I believe, is still left alone. Marius did go down. not too long ago. Sandguild as well going to get eliminated.
Trulex živ, Trulex živ, još uvek.
Looks like they want to claim height. Can they maintain it though? As Trulex.
Dobro pleja. Tuča Srba i Albanaca preteknu, tako i treba. Nadam se da smo im jebali mamu maminu šiptarsku. Trulex uzo kill. Trulex uzo kill kao što ste vidjeli. Chris i Aydrop imaju high, mogu da vinuju game. Neko je haos izboden, sad sam vidio sliku. U mamu im jebem šiptarsku, da im jebem sve.
Height has been taken from them, so the shots now will be put onto them as Haris and Aydrop flashback to game 1. Issue is they weren't able to hold on to it. Now in game 6, from first match of the day to last match, can they learn from their mistakes?
Yeah, they've already got a third. That's the game that you're talking about. They have a second underneath their belt as well. All they need is this win to kind of cap off every position into the top 3. And they look toward the backside of zone. They don't need surge.
Tu si umro. To je dobro za Hrisa. Trulex heala, ima dosta medkita. Ovi su zajebani. Ovi su drugi. Ćao, Aco.
The most consistent duo we see all day. But can they finish it off strong? 472 above. They're running low on material.
U što uleću, brat. U što uleću. Oh, Art is dead. Art is dead. Fire Hunter solo. Ovo je dobro za Trulexa ako je živ. Ovo je dobro za Trulexa ako je živ. Ne vidim Trulexa. X-Force dead. Vidi ova dva goveda. Umro Trulex do kurca, brate moj. Hoće ga prestigne Fire Hunter. Hoće ga prestigne Fire Hunter. Fire Hunter živ još uvek, brate.
As now he's looking for a shot to connect, but not playing it risky at all.
Bartulinho, ne znam ni ko je to, niti sam to vidio, brate. Chris čak može do prvog mesta. Ne znam da li je Fire Hunter živ. Važi, vuče, važi, brate. Ode Fire Hunter. Ode Fire Hunter, ali mislim da je prestigo Trulexa sa poenima.
Popping a flow barrier to drop down. Now the aggression's gonna come through. Wall replace 174.
Ubio je jednog.
Finally gets it. Another Elam on the board now for Haris.
Yeah, they dropped down at the perfect time. And the only thing that would make it worse for everybody else in lobby if they had the nitro splashes, but they finally look up. Haris getting voted out, and that's Aydrop who's trying to alleviate some of the pressure, give him a chance to build on back up, and they are maintaining that position high above the rest. They're looking to be the first team, but 2 victory royales on the day, but they still got a couple other teams and players to go through. One of them being Marine and Cade, one of the most consistent teams on the day.
Imaju isto poena, majke mi moje, brate. Imaju bukvalno isto poena, brate. Beži Kiro, ali ne može, brate, i našli nitro. Behind, low. I Chris je low. 2 na 2 i 1 dole. I Chris je low. Top 3.
He knows Haris is playing distraction, disruptor. He's going to try to down below and try to get the last 2 eliminations.
Chris ubio ovog, ali umre, Chris. Chris ubio jednog, ali on je umro. Mislim da vineju.
Start to heal off and win the game.
It's turned into a 1v1v1. You have Art skill all the way in zone. Looks like he's out of medkits. Gonna take shots on Marine.
Ne, dobro je. Dolo, ne, umro je Ajdro. Umro je, bre, kakav čov, bre. Šta radi ovaj Ajdro, pelo normalan, bre. Po 3 metkita je imao, brate. Pa 3 metkita je imao, jebote kurac. Pa da, bre, tu su, rekao sam da su tu. Pogledaj 1 poen. Merain Kaj 225, Fire Hunter 224, rekao sam da je prešao Truleksa jer je bio 10. Trulex i Čičo 18. sa 1. I Ajdrop i Hris bili sad 3. umjesto da vinaju game, bre. 3. umjesto da vinaju game, brate, i da budu 1. Merain Kaj 1, Fire Hunter Artis 2, Ajdrop Hris 3, Trulex Čičo 4, Čapteni 5, Mersta Šmali Buća 6. I to je to. Nepskido Svizi Vanjak 12. Nepskido 13. Sangild Marius 15. I tako dalje i tako bliže i na tu temu to. Eto. To vam je to. Janis Pixi 33. Vortex Glupši 41. Skydum Vox 49. I tako. Delaf 9 29. Vreme je za Srbija i Engleska. Evo vam Domix za sreću. Gasimo stream na YouTube-u. Evo ga Slađa na YouTube-u. Oće Slađane, boga mi oće, brate. Oće Slađane, brate, bit će zajebano. Tadić ulazi s klupe, možda i pametno. To je možda i najpametnije. Odoh da gledamo Srbiju, vidimo se kasnije na Discordu i na chatu i tako dalje. Ajde, ljubi vas, brate.